and welcome to the finish line of the 2020 Rebel Rally. Our live show has been brought to you by Kia this year, and wow, haven't we had an adventure, Matthew?
It has been. As long as some of these days have been, I can't believe those early days in Tahoe when it's just us working on our show and everybody else getting their feet under them. And then boom, we're here finishing the day in Glamis.
And because it's 2020, by this time we're normally just exhausted and everybody's ready to go back to the reality, and I feel like everybody's been energized by this, and none of us want to go back to reality at this point.
It's a funny experience. I kind of enjoy being mostly dirty and not mostly showering ever. It's like you just kind of like settle into the dirt and accept that like this is my life, and my life is off-road in the dirt, and I love it.
And it's simple. It's just simple. So let's do a little recap and try to remember, the operative word being try to remember, how we got here.
Sure.
So the very first day I met up with you was at technical inspection.
Uh-huh.
Remember when you forgot about me and you left me on the side of the road because you had to put the stickers on?
No, I don't even remember. It too long ago.
But technical inspection is where it all starts. If you're a Rebel, you have to pass tech inspection to get to the start line, and there are certain requirements, and there are a couple of teams this year that had to really hustle, and if you've forgotten your fire extinguisher or you don't have water
or you're a whip flag for the end of the event or any dune stuff. Yeah, tech inspections also where we get into some technology. We limit their access to technology in their car, and it could come from unplugging their GPS antenna or covering up their dash with some like anti-tamper tape, and then we add trackers to their vehicle, one that they interact with, that they signal at their checkpoints, and then one that allows us as a backup to keep up with where they are at all times. We can also see how fast they're going, what heading they're on, and all these details.
And then at the prologue, so the next day is the prologue, and this is a day that doesn't count. So way back when, they had a full day, and competitors that have competed in the past said that this was very different this year because it was an actual simulation of a day. It wasn't a long transit. And so they were able to blow out the cobwebs and really get their game faces on. And on that particular day, the essence of the Rebel comes into play. Every competitor's devices, we call them unmentionables, are taken from them. So if you're just joining us this afternoon, this is a navigational competition from the shores of Lake Tahoe down to the border of Mexico. And competitors only have a map and a compass to find their way 2,500 kilometres. So on the prologue day, they have everything with them, but when they come into the finish line, phones, computers, anything GPS enabled, which includes GoPros sometimes, are taken from them, and they're left only with their tools to compete.
Yeah, and it's so each day they actually have all of their items. They're just taken from their access. They're put in a sealed bag, and they have to show us the bag each day they get here, and we've wrapped it in anti-tamper tape, basically. So, and the idea being, if they had a problem, they could access their belongings, turn their phone on, and be in communication using all possible means as a safety backup.
And that's a question we should be asking them tonight, because tonight they're actually allowed their devices back. And when I competed, I didn't want my device back.
Yeah.
You just want, some will say no and they'll leave them off until they leave base camp in 2 days, or others will put them on and they'll disappear into their tents. And obviously you want to talk to your friends and family. But
yeah, family, obviously you want to do a family check-in. I remember Chrissy talking to me after a big event. She's like, look, I'm fine, I'm safe, I'm good, we'll chat tomorrow.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
So that brings us to day one. Day one was Monte Cristo to Fish Lake, and we ended up actually competing over the epicenter of Nevada's largest earthquake, which happened while Emily and Nicole Patel were pre-running earlier this year. They were literally surfing on rocks and dirt. So that was day one, and we were a little bit jittery, wondering whether we were going to experience an earthquake, and touch wood.
Have you
right
been
here,
in? Do they have earthquakes in New Zealand?
Yes, they do. Big ones. The big Christchurch
actually,
earthquake.
I know. So a lot of people must be wondering this. When did you leave New Zealand?
Oh, I came here for high school. It's when I met Wendy Fisher, who's competing here, a skier.
Okay,
and then
and your level of accent has persisted since high school.
I've held on to my accent.
I know,
I'm proud of it.
but you go back to New Zealand a good bit of each year, don't you?
Yes, I'm going here shortly.
Cool. I love it.
And
hang
you
on
know,
to that.
when I'm on the Rebelle, I always meet very like-minded people who I want to share New Zealand with, because it's a real adventure country, and my heart and soul is always, I've always got one foot.
I
in New
loved
Zealand.
my trip there, and I'm honored that I've been invited to go again by my friend Katie.
When the borders open.
When they'll let me in that country.
So on day 2, we went Death Valley to Cactus Flats, and let's get on to day 3 though, because that was my favourite. Dove
Okay.
Springs. Remember that? That was a day of decisions, and ego came into play massively on that day, because I think especially because our live van was parked at the bottom of a very big hill, and Emily said to us that day, I put the flag at the top of this hill to deter people. And I said, well, as a rebel, if I see a flag at the top of a hill and there's tracks going up it, I consider that a challenge. So I don't know if her deterrent worked. And then, of course, that's exactly what rebels did. But you know what? You don't know if these are razor tracks or motorcycle tracks. And so I think some egos came into play when they saw live van, and they attempted some hill climbs that maybe their cars weren't suited for. But
well, or maybe it was, we're just like, look, I think I can do it, don't know, but the time management of today says I need to get my game going, and so I'm going for this. Maybe without a lot of thought about how difficult it could be.
So then back to base camp that night, and stage 4 brought us into the Marathon League. Now, the Marathon League is a really special part of the Rebelle. We have it every year. Emily picks a very picturesque spot. I've seen, what's that date farm called, guys?
China
Ranch.
Yeah,
so
China
one
Ranch.
year it was an oasis in the middle of the desert, and they served date shakes. This year we went back to Dumont Dunes, which is the first time the competitors saw sand, and it is the most picturesque place. As the sun's going down, it is just gorgeous, and the competitors have to self-camp. So they have to take their own food. They get Mountain House here at base camp, and they set up camps. And some years they go off into groups. This year it was really cool. They all camped together, and the more senior, experienced rebels helped out the other rebels, and gave them pointers for the dunes. And I remember sitting down to frantically do some plotting that night, and they all said to me, no, self camp, don't plot now, just sit down and relax. And they encouraged me to actually just smell the coffee, smell the roses.
Yeah, and enjoy the coffee, all of that. So we are going over how we got to be here in Glamis at the end of the Rebelle for the 5th anniversary. What you're watching is live drone and Willie Phil footage out there. We've got a couple cameras up. This is live footage of Rebels finishing the end of Glamis. We're going to go out and interview everyone we can get to. We're just biding our time to get enough teams around, so we're just overviewing how we got here.
Okay, so we move on. We can't forget, before we talk about stage 5, stage 4, Trona Pinnacles. I'd never seen anything
so
like
cool.
it in my life. I mean, it was gorgeous. You know those little sand things the kids make, and they kind of get dollops and collect them on top of each other when they're at the beach? It was like that in giant size. And we had so much fun there, because we decided to hide behind one of the pinnacles.
We did a bit of sneaking around, didn't we?
And watch the teams try and hit a black checkpoint. So we had a lot of fun this year on the live crew, trying to educate our audience in a way that we haven't done in the past. And I think that's been really helpful, because this is a really strange event. And one thing I want to point out is, we all thought that with COVID-19 in 2020 that this might not happen. And Emily said, we're going ahead no matter what. And she had to revisit every area of base camp, and every single team had coaching on how we were going to do this in a COVID appropriate manner. Not a single person has come into our bubble over the last 8 days that hasn't had a COVID test. The base camps are way spread out. The drivers and navigators are in their own bubbles. Our live team is in our own bubble, but the protocols at dinner, everything. We even
The fueling is done on site.
So we're not going into communities. We have Emily hired a COVID coordinator, and someone said the other day, if you were given a brief to create an event around this strange 2020 year that we're living in, the Rebel Rally would be it. We're a non-spectator sport. We're bringing it to you live from the desert. I mean, I think it's a testament to Emily for not just saying no and for powering through.
Yeah, she said, we might have COVID another year from now. Who knows? And we're not going to lay down.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it responsibly. We're going to acknowledge the risk at hand, and we're going to create our own massive bubble here and do a great job. And we have done it, we think.
And none of us want to go home now.
Right, we want to stay in our bubble here.
So stage 5, Razor OHV to Johnson Valley. So we went from one OHV to the next, and we met our friend Dennis down in Razor. We pulled up to our checkpoint, and it was his property, and he was just so gracious and wonderful. Matthew and I got to spend the morning with him, and he taught us a lot of local law. Three cowboys had been telegraphed to come in and work the mines, and they worked for one day, had a few drinks with the owner and robbed him, and the owner shot all 3 of them dead, and the graves are still there.
The next morning, right? They were all passed out from being drunk, and the owner got up and shot all 3 of them, buried them.
So I took a step back from Dennis and said, well, I better not get drunk and rob you tonight, because you might have 4 graves there, right? Yeah. But we made friends with Dennis, and we're looking forward to seeing him again in the future. He was just such a great person to understand local law. So then we went to Johnson Valley, and Johnson Valley was a more sparse base camp, but it wasn't as sparse clearly as the South Camp. We were lucky enough, though, to have Del Taco come in with our partner Beyond Meat and serve all the competitors dinner, which was a super treat. And then a treat on top of that, the next morning, our live show presenting sponsor Kia treated all of us to very exotic coffee. It was called Clutch and Coffee, right there in the middle of nowhere. I had an Americano, and I think Matthew had a couple of lattes that day. It was quite a treat. Nathan just told me he had a latte. Thank you, Kia. You did a solid for the live crew that morning.
It was much appreciated. Caffeine becomes a good friend, i.e. /crutch, or whatever you want to call it, when you have the long hours. Sometimes, like our days are.
The next day, we actually took the fun roller, and we did our transit down here. Matthew's car is aptly named the fun roller. I think we got a bit of a hand slap for having too much fun in the hand roller. It's actually not a hand roller, it's a fun roller. Whoops. And we made ourselves down here to Glamis, and Glamis is sponsored by Total Chaos, and that is aptly named Welcome to the Chaos, and these competitors have been having their fair share of chaos today. So what I'd like to do is take a look at the tracker. We've timed this live to show you competitors coming in on the finish line, but the hunt is still on, and the competitors are still hunting down checkpoints, as you can see.
This is time lapse from today, where they started at base camp. You can see them using a mostly paved road to transit up to another one to kind of land themselves in the dunes.
So if you can see to the right, there's a line. That's actually the highway, and there's a highway right next to it called the Sand Highway. So you have to ear down, you have to have your whip up, but if you can see those little topographical lines right down the middle, that is Glamis, and that is a giant area of sand, and you cannot drive from one side to the next. You have to take headings, and you have to figure out how to get around the sand dunes to get all these checkpoints, and just look at them splattered all through the middle. Some of those in the middle, I don't know how these competitors are getting them.
No,
today.
they're like 10-story buildings, and not only that, quite steep on some sides. And if you're riding a Razor or a motorcycle around with a paddle tire in the dunes, you can get a lot of places. But remember, we're driving 5,000-pound, 4,000-pound vehicles on normal tires that go on the highways, and doing that in the dunes, it takes some skill and preparation and planning.
Now, I just want to thank Drew Jackson and his team from YB Tracking. They are a very, very important part of our scoring, and they have worked tirelessly with Chrissy to dial that in, and he is not able to be with us this year. We really miss you, Drew, so make sure you get your act together and get back here next year. And also they have, their trackers go on all the vehicles, so you have 2 trackers per vehicle. One is on the vehicle and the other one is the device that competitors use to prove that they hit a checkpoint. So when you come up to a checkpoint, you click it, and then we know back at scoring whether or not you got that checkpoint or another group's checkpoint. So thank you, YB Tracking. They are part of our Iridium ecosystem this year, another great partner that has stepped up. Iridium has decided that an ecosystem to showcase some of their partners would be a great idea with the Rebelle. So we have YB Tracking. ICOM gave us all of our push-to-talks, which are being used absolutely today. My battery, I had to charge it because I used it so much this morning trying to find out where the media team was and whether we were getting the shots we need for all the OEMs and for our own media.
And another quick shout out to ICOM on the Iridium network. It's been smoother and better this year than it ever has. A quick press has always... There's a bee on my head. The quick press has always resulted in a good connection that we can clearly speak, and it's gone way better this year than in years past.
And another one to mention inside the Iridium ecosystem is, of course, our satellite phones that the women have. Every single competitor has one in their vehicle, and if anything goes wrong, they just call the emergency number on their satellite phone. And Road Post kindly brought those into play this year. So the Iridio ecosystem is perfect for the Rebelle Rally. I mean, it's just been magical. And another fun fact, look at that.
Yeah, it's Susan Piper and Laura, I think it's Laura Moore, out in the Demos Jeep. I think, I'm not sure if they're done or if they're hunting a checkpoint here that's really close to camp, but you could see some of our tents off in the distance there, and they were just out of their Jeep trying to navigate a bit. The dunes over here near where camp are totally different. They're these little dunes, but they're sneaky difficult. They're like weirdly difficult because they're so easy to get yourself hung up on something you didn't expect.
That's great. Paige is brilliant, isn't he? Paige, thank you for finding these cars. Keep it up. It's a long show. Let's get Paige a cold drink.
Yeah, there you go. See the camp in the background, the competitors' tents, Power Innovations trailer. We saw Power Innovations truck out on course, actually, when the Rivian pulled up to get some juice here midday.
So Power Innovations is part of our beta test this year. We have an electrified designation, which means we have electric cars in the desert travelling 2,500 kilometres. That is so groundbreaking, and Power Innovations have stepped up and made it possible for us to charge these electric vehicles, A, and B, power parts of our base camp. And so this beta has just been magnificent, and I think the learning that's gone on, not only for Power Innovations but for the Rebelle and the electric vehicles, has been magnificent. I'm really looking forward to interviewing, we have one of the head engineers for Rivian coming to talk to us later on. So Matthew, before,
I just can't get over how, like, this is why we love the dunes. It's a hot day and we're all tired.
Look how
but
big
you
it
still
is.
Like can't get enough of this landscape.
I mean, look at it. And it is actually beautiful. Even Nathan thinks it's beautiful, and it's hard to impress Nathan, I can
Look
tell
how
you that.
like we are wedged right up in it too. That's just like out of the back door. Later on, maybe this evening, you'll see a bunch of Rebelles sitting along that sand dune at the bottom of the screen, watching the sunset across all of this.
Imagine being lost in there. One wrong turn. Like, they do not have a GPS. They do not have the bird's eye view that we have. The further in they get, the more it looks exactly the same around every single corner. We're going to go to a video shortly about how unbreakable some of our Rebelles are, but I'm enjoying this shot.
Watching this.
Yeah, look at us. We're like two kids glued to YouTube.
I'm going to wave.
Can you see us?
Look, you can see me waving. Look,
oh, yeah, you can.
I'm waving.
And there's Maddie B. Did you have a good day? Okay, let's go to the unbreakable piece.
What essentially started Record the Journey was my own journey back to self, is what I call it. 3 combat deployments, and the last one in particular, I lost some people in some pretty heinous ways. And one of the challenges of being home is reconciling sort of who you were before the war with who you are after the war. For me, I did all the wrong things, trying to produce adrenaline and getting in my head. I get a lot of inspiration from nature. So I was doing some off-roading, and while I was out there, I picked up a camera. And how that came about is, when you look through the lens of a camera, you have to be completely present or you miss the moment that you're looking for. You're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're simply in the moment. So I started taking some other veterans with me. We all sort of had similar experiences. It's simply sharing a moment, sharing a common experience, and sharing that journey back to self and creating that common bond. One of the benefits of the Rebelle Rally is being able to completely unplug, slow down, and get single focused. But I also think the other thing that is so amazing about the tribe Rebelle that emerges at the end of these, if you did the first Rebelle or the fourth, that bond and that connection will always be there. This year we decided to try and sponsor an adaptive veteran. An adaptive athlete is the term I prefer, because you have to be an athlete to come out to the Rebelle. We identified a young lady who's a U.S. Air Force veteran of 7 years who had a progressive neurological disease, who is a quadriplegic essentially because of the neuro conditions, who's in a wheelchair, who we sponsored for the rally this year.
Honestly, it's been huge. To have a company like Mitsubishi step in and really support a small nonprofit like Record the Journey, one means that they care about the little people and the veterans of this community, and it really means that they're trying to step out and make sure that the community is always taken care of, and that's really cool to see from a big company.
I respect the term broken, but I don't identify with it. I have certainly suffered, I have certainly had really dark moments, but I don't believe that breaks you. I believe that character is formed in darkness, not in light. And when I was younger, I used to believe the worst thing could happen is you could fall down and stumble. As I got older, I've changed that perspective and I realized that everyone falls. The worst thing that can happen is you don't surround yourself with a community that reaches down to help pick you up.
Two, one, go kid.
Welcome back. Wow, what an exciting time we have here today. And we just got a call from our boss in Canada and he said, I want to know what the scores are. And so we've pulled Harry to give us a little bit of an update on what's been happening on course today. Remember, this is the game changer. This is really where the rally starts. And I can tell you there are some pretty exciting upsets today. Harry, let us know what's going on.
Absolutely, Katie. I think this is a complicated event to follow. It's not a race where the person in the front is necessarily leading. There's teams that are further back that are actually doing better. If you look at the standings and the points, you want to look at things like black CPs. These are really what separate the best teams from the good teams. And so if we look at those standings, let me just pull them up real quick here.
I was just looking at them, Harry. The checkpoints aren't even right now for where everyone's been, so it's a little bit hard to draw some hardcore conclusions right at the moment.
I agree. Yeah, if we look at day 7, we can see most of the teams are through, for instance, green CP 15. And so if we look back from that CP and look at, say, 14 and 14X. Almost all the teams went to 14. They didn't try and get the harder 14X. The differentiators are, if we go even further back to black CP 8, we can see that the Benzies got that CP. Wild Grace got a couple points on that CP, but most teams didn't. And those are really the things that are distinguished. As we look along each of these different CPs and you look down, pretty much everyone gets the greens. Everyone's going to get their 25 points. But as you start to look at the blues and particularly the black CPs, we see things like, Anna Lewis and Andrea Schaefer got 4X and they got 10 points. Sasquatch Rebels,
they
got 10
5X,
points
got 10 points again.
Notice that these guys,
13.
These guys have similar points, so maybe they are together.
And we have seen that out there. Teams are running together. They recognize that the dunes are no joke, and it's very easy to get stuck, and you can eat up a bunch of time.
And you're allowed to follow, but you're not allowed to follow with more than 3 people. And Harry, I have to say something here that you mentioned to me the other day. You told me a trick for young players. Don't think that Group A is always the lead group. Can you click on Group B for us, Tracy?
So the leader in Group A, 63% of the available points, but the leader in Group B, 66 of available points. So you could see the leader of Group B has more points than the leader of Group A.
Right. Talking to scoring director Chrissy Beavis, she said that in the past, on some days they do put the less experienced teams in Group B and the more experienced team in Group A. But out here, they were trying to discourage teams from following each other. So they split up. For instance, you don't have the 2 top teams that were within 4 points of each other coming to the last day. They have an entirely different group of CPs to get to, so they can't follow each other at all.
One of the things we talked about with Chrissy this morning was how to keep the competition fair and keep them from following each other. And that's one of the reasons you end up on a few of the days with basically the teams with the most points all in Group A, because they're all having the exact same competition. And if you're at the experienced level, you're not going to follow anybody else. There's no good in following other people. You got to stay on your own program. That's how you learn and get better.
Absolutely. And here in year 5, we've seen a lot of experience come into play, and some really good team. The Benzies have proven themselves to be experienced. Maria Guitar, this is her 3rd time navigating. And she's done quite well.
We'd like to, before we go and get back on some of the live cars coming back in, we'd like to look at X-Cross really quick.
Yeah, that's still anyone's game. We've seen the standings in X-Cross have swung wildly from day to day, and the Teleriders are getting the most points today. We actually ran into them out on the course. They were feeling very confident and having a lot of fun out there.
Can we scroll to the right, team, and look at the ending checkpoints? There we go. There should be about 20 today, I think.
So I don't think that
19 checkpoints
the
today.
Teleriders are going to have enough points to overtake Shelby Hall and Penny Dale, Team 201, Team GOAT in their Ford Bronco Sport. But if we look at Rachel Ridenauer and her teammate Katie Levy, is it Katie?
Yeah, Katie.
Thank you.
So have them go to the standings and the X-Cross standings.
Yeah, let's have a look at X-Cross standings. Good idea.
Oh, I'm sorry, Christy Levy. I apologize.
Christy, that's it.
They're having a rough day. We saw them stuck in the dunes. They were getting assistance from another team, so they won't have to get a penalty in terms of outside assistance, but it was chewing up a lot of time while the competitors are going and clicking off more CPs.
So as it sits, we've got Shelby Hall and Penny Dale that are looking like first in X-Cross. They're not back here yet, so anything can happen until you get to this final base camp. Sabrina and Alyssa in our Kia Telluride that's sponsoring our live show, and then Rachel Ridenauer and Christy Levy and the Mitsubishi Outlander in 3rd as it sits, like I said. So how about we just get some video up of cars coming in, or some live shots here, and we'll go back to the scoring in a little while when some more vehicles come back in.
Absolutely. Yeah, all these teams are really winners. Everyone here has a different set of priorities and circumstances. For some people, you're in a classic Ford Bronco, you have no air conditioning. Just reaching the finish line is a win, and that's a vehicle that has nostalgia for them. It was a one-owner vehicle bought by the competitor's father, and so they're not trying to score the most points. They're coming here to make memories, and I think they've absolutely accomplished that this week.
You know what? And this, the other favorite thing I have about the Rebelle is you can come here for lots of reasons. For adventure, for the competition, for the precision, for navigation, for the camaraderie, for the chance to get out of the house. Like, this event has many, many hooks that answer different people's needs. And so we find all kinds of competitors here.
Well, and I think what's really interesting about, thank you so much, Harry, such a wealth of knowledge. Keep an eye on that scoreboard and let us know if anything flips in the next few minutes.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The final day, you'd think you'd come in here and there's going to be an awards ceremony tomorrow night, and it's a big deal, and the winners need to be rewarded and congratulated. But today, it's just about getting across the finish line all together. And, that's where the Team Spirit Award is so important, because if they all don't get across the finish line, it just doesn't feel right. In fact, I just saw 188, Laura Wanless and Wendy Fisher were competing really, really well this year and had some issues with their vehicle and actually had to stop earlier on today, which was a real bummer. And Laura was they said the first checkpoint they got was so much fun, and Wendy said to her, you know what, this was so much fun, we have to remember that for the rest of the day. And then she reminded Laura of that, because it's such a bummer when you come this far. But the cool thing was, as soon as the finish line opened up at 1:30, they drove through it. And last year we had a vehicle that was a bit limp, and that went through the finish line as well. So let's go over and talk to off-roadies. I think we could probably do that. Can we go to one of our... I'm allowed to leave, Nathan says. Can we go to one of our clips and then go have a look? Well, let's look at a wagon commercial. A new partner.
Hi, I'm Justin from Wagon Tech, a company that has been in the Bay Area of California for over 37 years. As an automotive lifestyle company, we provide products that give you power, comfort, and convenience for the road ahead. Power means having a hot cup of coffee no matter where you are. Comfort is enjoying your trip. Convenience is having the tools you need when you need it. With Wagon Tech, you'll always be road ready.
Welcome back. Before we go hunt down some of these teams, and I can see, there goes our Kia team. The Tellurriders are not coming to the finish line. They have more checkpoints to hunt down.
Yeah, there are quite a few, especially for the X-Cross class. There's a few more checkpoints that way.
Perfect. So, if you're watching and you're interested in rebelling, go onto our website and sign up for our newsletter. It's a really easy way to go into the draw to win over $700 worth of prizes that can get you started as a rebel. You can see all of it here. Look, we have to go. What are ours?
Not our ice waters here.
None of our waters are yours. Okay, so
actually,
we've
got a corksicle water bottle that looks like this one.
Oh yeah. So you get a corksicle water bottle. Our partner Cafe Moto has some Rebel branded coffee, Rebel bling, a beanie, a mask, which is great. What are these things called?
Neck gaiter?
Buff.
A buff?
It's
a buff.
It's a buff. You get a buff.
It goes around your neck or face or whatever you need it to do at the time.
It's quite good in these weird times, because you can just put it on and then pull it up rather than have
it's
put your mask on.
It's like mostly outside COVID approved at least, and then helps block you from inhaling all the dust.
So we've got some sunscreen that would have come in handy today. I'm so glad the wind has died down. Stickers. Your very vital tool as a rebel, a Sunto compass. I mean, that's worth entering this prize for itself. And then down here, my favourite part of this prize package is from Wagon Tech, our new partner, and it's a jumper. And the jumper that I have from them, it'll start my Suburban, and has a couple of times. And I've also pulled over and helped people on the side of the road, and they look at me like I'm an alien.
What do you do for people on the side of the road?
That joke was yesterday's joke, Matthew.
It's too funny to let go.
They see me jump out.
She likes to jump people on the side of the road with this thing.
So when I do that, they see me jump out in a dress, and I'm holding this little box with these two little pinchers, and they're like, okay, lady, what do you think you're doing? And it starts their car every time, and it's my favourite party trick. And it has also helped me out in the boat one day with my sons. We did forget to put the bungs in, so the boat was sinking, the battery was dead, and this jumped my battery so that I could move and the boat didn't sink. So you really do need one of these. I highly recommend, if you don't win the prize, go to Wagon Tech and buy one of these. And then, of course, we've got our Total Chaos waterproof bag, great for mountain biking or keeping in your car. Nicole says she keeps her trash in here, which is quite a good idea. I don't know if that's why they were made, but it's a good idea. And then, of course, this is a used set, but these are every rebel's saviour in the sand. Look at me, I'm holding them up, Nathan.
I didn't know when to interrupt to tell you weren't on camera holding those.
I'm not even
but
on camera.
You're not on camera.
Okay, but you can't rebel without your Max Tracks.
Gotta have your Max Tracks.
Not only will these get you out of the sand. Oh, did you hear that? Hold them up again. Thanks for helping, Matthew.
Here, okay, I got you.
Okay, Max Tracks. There we go.
There we
Brilliant.
go.
So these would have been, I don't think, let's make it a challenge to see if we can find a rebel who did not use their Max Tracks today. Because I
Okay.
bet every single team out there use them, so we'll ask them that when we go over there. Another thing that you can do with your Max Tracks is if you are in a narrow canyon, like the Fun Roller and I and Matthew were in yesterday, if you come upon like a boulder that you cannot clear, you can make a little bridge with your Max Tracks, and
Yeah.
that is really cool.
And to keep the bottom of the vehicle from bottoming out and to get over something that otherwise your vehicle wouldn't clear.
And Matthew always comments that these also make a great shovel. So if you forget your shovel, your Max Tracks has handles. So it will get. It's great if you live near the beach and you want to drive along the beach. In New Zealand, we can drive 90 miles on the beach, and I don't want to be stuck 90 miles in when the tide's coming in.
Oh, I'll tell you another funny story. Chrissy and I felt quite smug as we were driving by one day in San Diego at the beach, and this guy in a big, brawny two-wheel drive truck had sunk himself down to the diff. Mm-hmm. And we just pulled up, gave him a pair of Max Tracks, showed him how to use them. He drove right out. He couldn't believe how easy it was. And we didn't really give him the Max Tracks, let him use them, and then we moved on. So let's look
Okay,
at,
we can't forget this. And also from Wagon Tech is this awesome
Michelin.
road flare, and it also has doubled as a light outside for us on the van. Larry just sticks it on the van and provides us light for dinner and what have you. But I think we should have a look at some B-roll. We're gonna talk you through this, but we have some footage from what has been going on course today. Let's check it out. Okay, we've got a competitor there doing the right thing, doing some recon before they drive up into that dune.
They look stuck to me.
Oh, you think?
Well, if that's soft, I mean, it is a Jeep with big tires, but on that pitch, that's also what being stuck looks like.
Oh, you called it,
like I
Matthew.
said,
Good job.
That's what being stuck looks like.
That is.
Okay, so they've backed out. You can't believe it sometimes when you're stuck uphill and you still can't even back up either.
And they're rookies,
yeah.
Team 136 are rookies. They're from New York. That is Lynn Edens and Suzanne Benenstock.
Oh, Jesus. Here's where a bit of driver skill is helpful. That was... If you were
did
going
it.
down a big pitch, that was going a bit scary. But it looks like they bailed early enough to just use a pair of Max Tracks instead of all four of them to get out.
And you can see the tags so they don't
tether.
get lost.
Yeah, the tether. Sometimes the Max Tracks end up subsurface.
So
Oh,
who's
look at this. Okay, we got the off-roadies in the Tundra who've just come in. And who are they giving a tug there?
Is that Rachel Ryan out?
Is it? This is an interesting...
It is.
It's a really long... Oh,
Wow.
man, they're trying to pull that vehicle uphill. Is this going to work?
This is interesting.
I'm in a little bit of disbelief that this will work.
And that's the thing. You get out there, you're tired, you've trained for this, you know what you're doing, but when it's windy and you've got 10 people coming up with ideas on how to get you out...
You know what? That is such a good point. When you have like a load of people like helping out, there's so many voices. You need a lot of them to be silent and just let like a couple be responsible for.
Oh, here we
for
go. We're
what to
back
do
live.
there.
Chris Faulkner just pulled in. I think we should head over there and start talking to some teams. Let's look at a Sunto commercial and we'll run to the start line. You ready, Matthew?
I'm ready.
Okay, well, welcome to the official finish line. I'm putting on my
Oh, yeah, let me
mask.
get mine on.
And I've got Lily here. Lily, what are you doing? Are you taking trackers off at the moment?
Just the one.
Okay, tell us about that.
Just taking off the one tracker. Most of the girls are staying and going to do the dunes tomorrow morning. It's definitely optional. We have challenges in the morning going on. We have a lot going on at finish. Pam and Cody have been an amazing finish line team. And all the girls are coming in and they're doing amazing. And they're rocking it.
Thank you, Lily. Let's go talk to them. Paul,
Can I have them go
yeah.
forward?
Sure, have them go
We'll
forward.
come and talk to you shortly.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to go forward just to get their photos right now.
Absolutely. So I'm going to walk down here, Matthew, And we're gonna, I'm not gonna yell at Matthew into my microphone.
I gotta be with you to know if you're talking.
Yeah, sorry. We're gonna come down here. Look, here's Team Canada, which have hit the finish line. We're not gonna talk to them. We're gonna wait here and we're gonna talk to Chris. Okay, I think if we talk to Chris Wu, and then we're going to interview the teams after that. So follow me, Will, and we'll go have a quick chat to Chris Wu. He's having a chat to Team 144. This is 144. This is our only international team this year. So the Canadians are about to pass the finish line. That is so awesome in 2020 that they even made it here to begin with. There's a lot of tears in that vehicle, and I'm getting a little goosebumpy here, Matthew. How stoked are they to have made it all the way here and to be crossing the finish line?
You know, I'm usually pretty stable, but like when I see somebody get emotional, it makes me emotional.
I know.
It like kind of brings to reality all the 7 days of what it took to get this far.
Like 8 days of competition, and these women are finally crossing the finish line. And we had some comments on Facebook earlier, Matthew, that we haven't had enough Wu. So I'm hoping that Chris Wu will give his debut appearance this year, because we haven't talked to him at all. He's always out on course and running from us. We're just waiting for him. We don't want to interrupt this special moment, so we're just letting them enjoy the moment here at the final checkpoint. So the finish line is actually a checkpoint, and it's the most important checkpoint to get today. It opened at 1:30 and it will close here, I think, at 5:30 tonight. So our plan is to go live until all of the teams are in. So if you're at home watching and you want to see your team come in, don't worry, we're not going to miss them. And anyone that's already come in, we plan on interviewing every single team. We're going to do our best. We've given them the option for an interview, so if they want to talk to us, we're going to talk to them tonight. So stay tuned, grab yourself a cold drink, and wait for your loved ones to cross the finish line here at the 2020 Rebel Rally. It's such an emotional time, especially given it's 2020. Talking of that, if you're interested in competing in this amazing adventure, registration is open and you can win, or actually you won't even win it. If you sign up before the end of this crazy year, 2020, so sign up before the end of 2020 and we'll give you a Rebel branded jacket, and you'll also get early sign up pricing. So if you're interested, I can tell you right now, every single one of the competitors that I've spoken to this week are so glad that they came. We were very surprised the number of teams that did not pull out. I mean, we had a huge field, 36 teams at 72 women decided to do this year, and none of them regret it. So if you're interested, remember, sign up for our newsletter. You can win a starter pack. And if you want to compete, you'll get early pricing, and registration is now open for 2021.
And they could come to a Rebel U, get some training, come see if it's a fit, and then decide to move on.
Oh, thank you, Drew. Drew's just given us a lemonade.
No, he's giving you one.
I thought I already done it.
And you know, because it's 2020, I can't share it with you. Thank you.
Hell.
Now, I am going to...
I will arrange one for you.
Can you stay here?
I'll stay here.
That was the whole point. He's like, I've come.
I thought you were alone. I didn't know you were this guy.
He's my co-host this year. Did you not know that?
Probably.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Let's
find another cup.
let's talk now. Let's just talk to Drew Dickman while we got him.
that's what we're doing. But
Yeah.
he wants to get you a cup.
Yeah, we can worry
can get
about
it in a
dude.
minute.
This guy serves. He takes care of people. He's
So-
always caring for people. He feeds us. How'd that work? That work out?
He did actually.
Okay, nice.
It's got more of a smoky flavor.
Better than
Drew,
expected.
because you're standing there, you don't have to wear your mask and try and drink your drink. But I'd like to formally introduce our famous Michelin-starred chef, Drew Dickman. I've been to his restaurant in Mexico. It was an incredible...
I have too, by the way.
So is Matthew, so that makes us... We need to all go together. Drew, you're here. You've come up from Mexico. We're all just saying how great a year it's been. We kind of want to stick around for a few extra days because it feels really different this year. Can you talk to us a little bit about sustainability, why you do the Rebel, whatever you want to talk about, fire away.
The what? Do the what? No, this has been, I think this is my 5th one, and it's been, do I look at you? Do I look at you people out there, or do I look at you?
You can look at me and them.
Okay, I look at you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the end of the road. It's been a great Rebel. We've done, this is my 5th. Every single one we've gotten better. I have an entire bag this big that never got opened because all my cold weather clothes. I never even put on my coat. I didn't put on my beanie. It never got. Last year, our milk froze inside the cooler.
It was freezing.
That's already an improvement,
yes.
Right? I just think we're turning into a well-oiled machine. I can't believe it's already into the competition. Tomorrow is the Brave New World. We're actually cooking out here in the biggest ashtray in the world, the gala dinner for the Rebel.
Oh man, that's going to be amazing.
160 people seated.
A red carpet. It's going to be glorious.
6 courses,
Is
wine
it?
pairings. Oh yeah.
We're trying to do quite
Venison.
an odd thing here in the desert.
I've got some line caught albacore that came in today that I had to drive to San Diego last night to pick it up.
Oh my gosh.
So it's going to be special quail. We've got my pastry chef from the restaurant's in there working on dessert for tomorrow.
Sorry, Matthew, I need to know about sustainability. The way that Drew runs his restaurant and the way that he prepares his food and where he gets his food from is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Can you just speak a little bit about how vigilant you are when it comes to that?
We're, in Guadalupe Valley, if you've never been there, we're about 85 miles south of San Diego in Mexico, about 15 miles inland from the Pacific Ocean. So in that 15 miles, we go up to about 1,500 feet elevation. Very Mediterranean-style climate. The largest wine-producing area of Mexico. It also allows us to produce a lot of our own food. So for the restaurant, vegetable-wise, we're up to 3 farms that produce exclusively for the restaurant.
Use that for a second.
Is it sanitized?
Yeah, we just cleaned it.
Did Matthew touch this?
Yeah, and then I cleaned it.
Sure. I'll hide it with my drink. Are we still rolling?
Yes, we're still rolling.
Yeah, so
keep going.
So we're up to like 3 farms now that produce exclusively for the restaurant, which is just really fulfilling. Instead of going and having a cup of coffee somewhere in the morning, I go and harvest.
Yeah.
So we have 3 different farmers. Each farm has a different amount of water and a different soil quality. So we choose in each one of the farms produces something different. We grow sheep right there on Malore. There's lambs. We have cattle. We have laying hens. We produce olive oil on the ranch. And then from there we work from concentric circles. It's not, if we don't produce it, it doesn't mean we just call the purveyor and have something delivered. Then we go to our neighbors. All right, let's see what our neighbors produce. And instead of writing the menu and then finding the products, we find the products that are closest to us and then write the menu.
And it's so amazing when you're a competitor and you roll into base camp. And I think the year I competed, you had lambs on spits, or were they pigs?
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah, and then Emily said that was a PETA issue, and we had to move on.
There's chickens on open flames. It's amazing what Drew pulls off. Thank you so much for coming out here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's
It's amazing to have you every year, and we'll see you again next year with your team. Remember, we talked about that last year?
We've got a couple of people this year. We've got 2 years, 1 year, 1 5-year person who's been on every single one with me.
And I want his girls, Genesis and...
she couldn't make it this year. And
I want them to compete next year, so we have to talk about that later. Well, let's go, Matthew, and talk to some of these competitors. Drew, we'll see you shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Drew.
It's so important that we always have a chat to Drew because he is so fabulous. I'm putting down my ice water, and we are going to go. You're going to go back. We can talk to this team. Let's move forward. Do you want to move? No, there's no driver. Hey, Chris.
There's no driver.
Can you move forward a little bit so we can chat to you across the finish line? We're going to go round. Let's walk over. Meet me over here, Will. So Matthew and I are going to walk over here, and let's go get some drone shots while we set ourselves up, and we can pull the competitors off the finish line and actually get some more in-depth interviews from these competitors as they pull out. And that way we're not getting jamming up the finish line.
That gives us a bit more space here to chat, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a better idea out of the line, because then we're stepping on people's toes and it's a bit more breathy for you, Will. What do you think?
Perfect.
So now we've got to wait for Chris to come on out, and we're still live. We've got safety coming in behind us. That's a good sign. And I think that's the Mitsubishi just pulled in there.
Yeah,
behind.
Rachel Ridenour, she and Christy Levy might be early in as far as the X-Cross class goes.
And then we've got Choco Love there. It's just an absolute tribute that they're going to make it across the finish line here. Last year that vehicle arrived in Tahoe, and the night of tech inspection it was confirmed that they were not going to be able to compete. And Emily said, what, are you going to let a car get in the way of your rally? And Christian sent her driver at the time back to Colorado, I believe, and asked her to drive a two-rig back through the night. She got back in time for day one, the prologue, and they competed in the car that was literally in their driveway. And so they arrived this year in Bertha, which is partially fueled by chocolate biofuel. Yeah. And on day two, I think it was, I found it in the impound with no wheels on the back. They'd blown out their shock mounts.
The upper shock mounts in the rear, yeah.
Then the day after that, they overheated, and they said, you know what, we're actually just really stoked that we have a vehicle to overheat.
Can I add a nerd detail to this? Mm-hmm. A lot of Mercedes diesels have an iron head and an iron block. An aluminum head can warp from overheating. The iron head can deal with a lot of overheating before warping. And those Mercedes diesels are like notorious for being really robust motors. They can kind of tolerate some overheating and keep on chugging along. And look at them, they're here.
So this is the first time we've done this at the finish line. We're actually grabbing vehicles. We're going to bring them in and we're going to interview. Can you just pull in behind us? Do a turn, yep. Here we go, perfect. Okay, we're gonna cut to a commercial and then we're gonna interview these guys.
Total Chaos, we believe in pushing everything to the limits and testing everything in our arsenal. We design our equipment to perform in brutal environments and some of the harshest off-road terrain. And because of that, we have been trusted to pre-run every mile of the Rebelle Rally for the last 5 years. Welcome to the chaos.
Live streams have 20 times more engagement than normal video. It allows for more ad dollars, sponsorship opportunities, and most importantly, an incredible opportunity to grow your brand. In motorsports, it's crucial to keep your fans close to the action, whether that be mounting a camera directly in a car, following the coverage from the air, or setting up cameras throughout the course. LiveView takes away from the technical drama of getting a high-quality production out there, so you can focus on what you do, creating quality content.
Welcome back to the finish line of the 2020 Rebelle Rally.
All right.
We've just sent Matthew out with Will to interview teams on the finish line. Matthew, go.
All right, so, with a live show, we're always just ducking and diving and trying to do the best job we can, getting all the stories we can to you folks at home, keeping up with the Rebelle Rally here in its fifth anniversary. Christian and Elise, you've made it through Glamis. You're sitting here.
You're smiling. Can you tell us about how was your day? Did you have some big adventures today?
We had some big adventures today. Right off the bat, looking for the first checkpoint, we were in some of those smaller but really choppy dunes, and got ourselves stuck at an angle. So we did have to call for help to get out of that situation safely before we could continue on our day. So that did eat up a little bit of time, so we had a little catching up to do after that. I think we did a pretty good job despite having no air conditioning either.
You know, my AC's been on the fritz too. It is just downright unpleasant, is it not?
108, now it's like 120 in here.
Yeah, what is it, like 108 degrees outside right now?
Well, as some long-term rebels that have been on this program for a long term and dealing with AC issues, dealing with getting stuck today, what kind of thing goes through your mind when you want to tell a rebel what it takes to come here and compete and make it to the end?
Grit for sure. Definitely have to continually sort of be willing to reassess your plan, not feel like having to skip checkpoints is a failure at all. You're just reevaluating what you have in front of you so that you can make it to your next green checkpoint and to the finish line. So that's the most important thing.
It's kind of stuff that humans deal with all day, every day in life. We expect something to go one way, and our ability to have some plasticity around changing plans is kind of a path to happiness to deal with that. And look at you guys.
The key is your team. I couldn't imagine, even though the first time we met, we hadn't really known each other, but I had known of her. Picking your teammate is the most important thing, so that you can be resilient together. Otherwise, you're doomed. It's such a big, important thing. It's what got me through the last couple days, and today was Elise, her encouragement. Otherwise, I may have fallen apart because it was pretty tough.
Well, look, we're going to let you guys roll for the moment, get some, cool off a bit, get some drinks, start to let that relaxation of what you've done and where you are kind of wash over you. Maybe like an actual shower. We have some more showers now. And we'd love to catch you guys later after you've had a chance to decompress a little bit.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's check out what Katie's up to over there.
Welcome back to the finish line of the 2020 Rebel Rally. This is a great shot here. You can see the stout tents in the background, and then beyond that, the majestic imperial dunes known as Glamis. I can see Choco Love, Susie McBride and Maria Guitar. I can't read the number on the car in front. Team Curry there, and I think it might be Kerry Porter's birthday. We'll have to find that out. We've actually got Matthew down at the finish line interviewing teams. But I have just found Chris Walker. He's a overlanding expert, we call you these days. We've still got to find a good name for you, Chris. Chris has been out on course all day long, helping these women get unstuck, being part of our safety crew today, because today it's all about safety. Nothing else matters. If these women aren't safe, then the rally isn't worth it. So, Chris, can you give me a highlight from today? Just give me an overview of what you've seen out there today.
I just think it's been a really interesting day on the final day of competition. The ladies have hunted hard to find their last points. And when we look at some of between the two classes, you can see that the lead has switched around throughout the day as folks. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting right now as we look at the X-Cross. There's two cars coming in, and they're right in the contention of being able to win their class, but there's one more car out there getting their last checkpoint, and I think it's going to be down to the finish line.
So I can see the Mitsubishi, I can see the Tellurides, and I can see the Bronco. So
all three.
Those are the three contenders lined up here to cross the finish line. That's been the game to watch today, is the crossovers. We have a pile of vehicles out there right now coming in. The closing time today, I believe, is 5:30, but we are going to be here the entire time, and we are trying to catch interviews with everyone crossing the finish line. So if you have a loved one in the Rebel Rally and you want to see them cross the finish line and they're willing to talk to our team, then stay tuned. We've got Matthew out there with Will, and Harry's heading out there as well. Harry has been just phenomenal this year in terms of bringing vehicle expertise to the rally. I know a little bit about vehicles. I'm learning a lot, but Harry has just been a rock star in showing us a lot more about how the vehicle in your driveway is way more capable than you think. What else did you see out there today, Chris, in terms of recovery? Did you see a lot of... you got stuck again? Look at him, he's going, don't say me, don't say me. How often did you see teams using their max tracks?
Oh, all day long. There was a really interesting recovery by Rachel in 205, 207.
Rachel right now?
Yeah.
201.
201.
207.
207. They're on the side of a dune. They tried to climb out of a steep side of a dune. I think they made a couple of attempts, but they got stuck sideways right on the top of the dune, right on the lip. And I don't remember the team name. They're in the tundra. They were there. They were out digging for maybe 45 minutes and ended up winching Rachel over the lip of the sand dune. It was pretty exciting to watch, and it was even more amazing to watch.
So hold on one second, Chris. We had some B-roll earlier, and I believe it's the exact recovery that you're talking about. And we were looking at it going, you know, when it's hot and it's windy and you've trained for this and you've got 10, 15 people giving you advice because other rebels might be giving you advice. Absolutely. Talk us through how that eventuated.
Well, like I said, I didn't see it start, but from assisting with another situation on course just down the dune.
Here it is, look.
What we observed there with Rachel.
There's the tundra.
Yeah, okay. It's hard to see here, but from what I understand, Rachel's car that's being winched up the hill right now was 45 or 90 degrees to the left. It was side on, and Rachel and her teammate, from what I saw, were spending a lot of time. It's the last day of competition. It's the final points. They're trying to avoid penalties, so they were trying to dig their car out. It wasn't working, but they had a really cool teammate there on the right-hand side in the tundra who obviously came along and offered to some assistance on this final day. And that's really the essence from what I see as the Rebel Rally. They're doing things safely. They're trying to go after it on the last day to get good points, which may or may not change the final standing and the final results of today.
It's going to be really interesting to see. Thank you very much. Anything else that we should know about out there? Did you have a good time?
I had an awesome time.
It's a beautiful place to be. This isn't the first time you've been to Glamis, is it?
No, a few times now.
Yeah, Chris is a veteran here at Glamis. Thank you so much, Chris. Chris has been really helpful on our live crew this year as well. Not only has he been helping with recovery and teaching us a lot about what he knows best, he's been, we call him finger on the pulse, making sure that we know where the teams are at all times, because we've had to chase them from the shores of Lake Tahoe right down here to the border of Mexico. Now hopefully I've got Matthew out there who is waiting for Team Curry to come through the finish line. So hopefully they're going to pull them. Oh, Daniel, can you please come here for a moment? I've just pulled in Daniel Mayfield on our media team. He is one of the most epic drone pilots I have ever met. Daniel, can you just talk to us a little bit about what it takes to get these bird's eye views here on the Rebel?
Well, it's pretty easy. Emily and Jimmy do a really easy job for me. They get to pick this track, and I basically just fly my drone, and they've picked these epic locations from Nevada to California that just really get to show off the scenery and the landscape. So.
And what's that new fast drone you're using?
Oh, it's an FPV racing drone. It goes like, I don't know, 60, 80 miles an hour.
I saw it buzzing around up there, and I've just seen some of the clips, and you guys have done an amazing job. The media team, the entire staff of the Rebel Valley is top notch. Thank you very much. I'll let you go. So I think Matthew, I mean, this is well, I hope Will gets a shot of all the media taking pictures of the vehicles as they come across the finish line. It's fantastic. But I think it's time now to cut back to Matthew, and he might be able to catch Team Curry here, 114. Go, Matthew.
All right, we're just looking at Allie and Carrie. Allie Curry and Carrie Porter just finishing the event in their Jeep Renegade number 114. A lot of people don't know that it's Carrie Porter's birthday today. I've been whispered on live TV. It's not TV. It's live though. Hey, congratulations. Hey, do you guys pull around to the side and want to chat with you? Just pull around and we're going to chat with you right at the end of this little drive here. So we'll see if we can get Allie and Carrie really quick and just hear a couple mentions from them about how their day went and maybe a secret to how they excelled today in the dunes.
So we go ahead and acknowledge that you're tired and you've just finished your big Friday, the end of the Rebel Rally. For all those seeming rebels watching and trying to figure out how this event could work for them, what advice do you have for someone at home that is trying to figure out how to do this event?
Trust the process.
It's great. Trust the process.
Trust the process
you
and have fun.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not fun, it's not really worth doing, right?
No.
Most of the time. I mean, you need to clean the house, I guess. Carrie?
I just say practice your navigational skills. Definitely your plotting. And there's no way of knowing what it's going to be like unless you just do it. If it's on your radar and you want to do it, then you just make it happen.
You gotta get out there, learn the navigation,
Yeah.
practice the navigation, and show up with a good set of base skills, you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we love seeing you guys here at the finish line. We hope you really enjoyed your day. Hey, I'm curious, do you want to tell us what your tire pressure is?
10.
Yeah, I could tell. These tires are sagging a little bit more than some others. Nice, brave girls to go on 10 PSI tire pressure here for the dunes. I go 8 to 10 often when it's really this loose.
We did well.
Good stuff. Okay, thank you guys. Congrats. All right, I guess we're gonna see who we can grab next here, sitting in there at the finish line. Yeah, you know what? And while we're lining up our next interview, we'll just go see what Katie's up to. What's she seeing?
So I'm over here in the shade, Matthew, and we've got a train going past, which probably take about 15 minutes to go by, knowing these trains. I can see Susie McBride just going out of screen here, and Choco Love. Susie and Maria Guitar was certainly a standout team this year. It's going to be really interesting to see where they placed. Team Demos there, and then as we just heard from Chris Walker, we've got those 3 crossovers coming in off the line right now, and I don't even know. I could probably pull out my phone and find out what the standings are, but you've got to remember, if you're watching, the standings are unofficial. We could have inquiries. There are all sorts of things that could change the game. Yesterday we had a bunch of penalties. There were people speeding. And so it's important to note that what you're seeing at home is not necessarily the official standings, but we can tell that those 3 crossovers, our live show sponsor, the Tellurriders, were very much in the hunt. And then we've got Penny and Shelby in the Bronco. They had a really bad day earlier in the week, and it knocked them for a 6, but they've come back in. And then, of course, Rachel Ridenauer, a 5-time Rebel, has been doing great as well. So the X-Cross class this year has been really the one to watch. I can see in the distance Team Nismo is coming in. They've also really impressed us. And there you can see FJ Anna in her fantastic Toyota. Another team that was predominantly in the top 10 every day this week. And you can see there on the back of this view from the drone that the Imperial Dunes just go for miles. Okay, here we go right now as the scoring stands for X-Cross. We do have Shelby Hall and Pennydale in the lead. So right now, unofficially, it looks like they have won the X-Cross class, which is incredible. And then Sabrina Howes and Alyssa from Team Kia, they have goes to show they keep their attitude up.
But yeah, the trainings are just awesome, and not just for learning the navigation and the driving, but meeting the other girls and some of the people involved with the Rebelle is just, it's amazing.
It's priceless.
Yeah,
the experience was priceless.
Yeah, you know what? And it's starting to occur to me that I teed you up with not what you were feeling. You were feeling just celebration that you've made it here, right? 7 days. What did it take to get here? 7 days of struggling with all the things that were the challenges through the what?
Getting out of the sand numerous times.
Was that today or other days also?
Both. Yesterday, today. The whole thing was challenging. I mean, it's long days.
Yes.
But they're
Early mornings.
They are so rewarding. I mean, it's an experience.
We did it.
That you'll never forget. It's a lifetime experience.
And Kathy, you have quite a bit of experience in other competitions, driving and Porsche and on track and Mustangs and things.
Yeah.
And how would you say the off-road discipline compares?
It's totally different.
Isn't it? It's just different.
It's totally different. I mean, the endurance is hugely different. The off-road also gives you that adrenaline rush that's awesome.
Yeah, it's unknown. It's like
Valerie may not.
but like turn 13 is not always turn 13, right? You get to some places like I don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
We were hoping for more training, but COVID hit, so.
Is what it is, right?
It's what it is.
Now, tell us really quick. You have a dark-colored Power Wagon. It's dust and black, or dark gray, or some fancy name that manufacturers call them, right? Well, we love it. It's cool, but it's called Red Fred.
Yes.
Why is it called Red Fred?
When we took our very first orienteering class about navigation, the instructor said, looking at your compass, you get Red Fred in the shed, meaning
the compass
arrow into the shed. We're like, that's it.
Red Fred.
Done. Don't you love it when things line up, so to say, so easily? There's our truck name, team name.
It was perfect.
Okay, we have to move on to this point. We love you guys being here. We love your energy. Congratulations for finishing.
You're thinking of doing this, you got to do it. Find a way to get it done.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back. I'm standing here in the shade. I've got Matthew out there working very hard, doing interviews with every single team we can find coming off the finish line today. So if you have a loved one that is in this line, leave on your screen, get yourself a cold drink and wait, because we are not going to stop this live show until we've interviewed everyone that wants an interview. So as long as they want to talk to us, we'll talk to them. Now I can see Choco Love has their nose across the finish line, and Nicole Dreon is over there taking the "this is the end" photographs. She gets the before and the after shots, and those are some fantastic shots, I can tell you. Behind Choco, here we go on screen, I've got Team Nissan. Can you pull up the 4x4 standings, Tracy? Be interested to see. We don't have everyone in at this point, and this is unofficial, but we have a good idea of who may have won the crossover X-Cross class, and here is the 4x4 class. So this is standings. Let's go to day 7. Perfect. And this is Group A. So, look at this. We've got Kendra Miller and Eliza Coleman, who have led today. Have they finished? Can we scroll to the right? Not all the way, sadly. That's okay. Let's go back to the names. So we can see that Kendra and Eliza Coleman are leading Group A. Can you scroll back to the left so I can see who's second? There we go. Oh, and here we go. You can see, we saw earlier FJ Anna and Andrea Schaefer are here. Group A have come in second today, but again, unofficial until we know whether we have any inquiries. And then last year's winner in the bone stock Lexus, Croft and Paulie, look like they're sitting in third, but that is Group A. Now let's have a look at Group B. So remember, I just said that those are first, second and third for Group A. You've also got to take into consideration first, second and third for Group B. And we've got Kaylee and Terilyn leading Group B. The Benzies second here, and then Susie McBride and Maria Guitar. So we've got to figure out who's the highest in both groups. Let's go back to an aerial shot with Paige, and we'll see. I mean, we've got a large finish line here. Oh, let's go to Matthew, who's going to interview Susie and Maria Guitar.
If you've been paying attention, Susie McBride and Maria Guitar. Susie is a Rebel rookie. Maria Guitar, how many year? 2 year? 3 year? 3 years. Okay. Now, these two, as far as I understand it, you guys were not really, you didn't know each other until a short time before this event. So you've had to build a friendship. You've had to endure things that people's common friendships might not get through and still be friends with, basically a stranger. Tell us, Susie, what it's been like getting to know Maria.
Oh, it's been awesome. We're both engineers, so we think alike, and I think we just found our mojo really early on. So it was just a great connection, and we clicked. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not aware already, there's iridium on the side of Susie and Maria's vehicle for a reason. Yes. Susie McBride is COO, if you correct me if I'm wrong, of Iridium. And I met her last year when she went for a ride with me in the dunes, and Katie offered for you to ride with me, and Katie looked at me like, I will damage your body if you don't take care of this woman and her son today. And I did, and we had a great time, and Susie and her son were really fun to hang out with last year. Now, and I'm just thrilled that you're here, and for what Iridium does for our event is amazing. It allows it to be safe and on time and scored properly. It depends on Iridium, and thank you so much for being here. Maria, yeah, 3 years. I remember you and I at a Rebel training in the dark, under the stars, at the Roost, Ocotillo Wells area, and you were like, I'm kind of done with this day job thing. Now, I don't actually know about you personally. Do you have that day job anymore, or did you just move on?
I moved on.
Look, I'll tell you, being part of the Rebel family may cause you to make changes in your life.
That is true.
And it sounds like, so tell us, Maria, what are you doing now?
Working on building my own business as a virtual bookkeeper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
You're going to be you are a virtual bookkeeper now, and you were an engineer for a big company before.
Yep, that is correct.
Okay, cool. Okay, we got to keep this show moving. What advice would you give to a rebel sitting at home that doesn't yet know she's a rebel, but is considering taking on what it would take to be here? What advice would you give?
I'd say, dude, go for it. Just don't even look back like I did. Just sign up and then figure it out afterwards. Just try it and get yourself a really good person that has done it, because that's the key. Somebody who knows how to do it. So.
I got it. Well, we were excited to see you guys. For me, your Jeep looks the coolest. I love that hard top on the back. It just looks pretty aggro.
Carter helped design it with me. So.
Okay. Mega. We're so stoked you're here, and thank you so much for your company's involvement as well.
Oh, it's great. It worked out wonderfully. It's nice to use the yellow bricks. So
we're just letting you guys get all cleaned up, and we'll check in with you later.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right. Katie, I don't know what you got over there, so maybe, is there a way I can drag you out here to play this game with me, interviewing some teams?
So look at this view. Look at this view of the finish line, and we've got another train. I mean, it's just part of the show at this point. So Matthew's got Choco Love lined up here for another interview, and they are going to be a great story. I just saw Renee get out of her vehicle, and of course Renee is wearing a long dress. She's the only competitor that competes in dresses. I think more women should compete in dresses. She just jumped out like it's a spring afternoon, and she's just travelled 8 days from Tahoe down to the border of Mexico. So I think they're pulling in. Let's throw to Matthew. And no, Nathan's saying not yet. Well, I'm just going to give him a little bit more time and see who's at the finish line. We've got Team 100 right up there, 4 back from the start. They won last year in the bone stock Lexus. Okay, apparently Matthew's ready. And please do look at Renee's dress. I just think it's fantastic. Go, Matthew.
Yeah, Katie, thank you very much. So I'm standing here with Christian and Renee. They look a bit sweaty. Still beautiful competitors here, but boy, you guys, it's taken quite a bit of spirit. You know what? It's the end of 7 days. You're here, and you're not stuck in a toaster oven for any more today.
you're here. If you can just get me to leave you alone, you can go and cool off and get in the shade. So here, I just want to know, did you think you were going to get here a few days ago when you had some vehicle problems?
What time on what day?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because it was 50-50. I mean, there was a constant concern and consideration and appreciation for the vehicle, but we were constantly inhibited by her transmission overheating. So there was many times where we sincerely did not think we were going to make it. All we wanted to do was to make it to that blue finish line, and we did. But definitely, I think on day 0, we thought we were done.
You guys, you're only a decade out of our 40-30 class with a 30-year-old Mercedes here. It's one of the just absolute favorites of the event. It sounds awesome. It looks awesome. But boy, you guys have had to have some patience and endurance. And you're standing here having not had AC all day in an over 100-degree day with not much, airflow here in the dunes. What would you? Here's my most important question I've got for you. What would you say? Oh, of course, here's 7 helicopters to fly right over during our interview. So I'm not gonna give up here. Think about it. What would you say to those girls at home, keeping up, watching, considering if the Rebelle is a fit for them? What does it take to be here at the end of the Rebelle?
I think the biggest lesson for success is confidence, and I don't think that most of us really know what confidence is until we understand the cost of hesitation. And I think that driving in the dunes is one of the best metaphors for that the moment you have to make a decision and you have to commit to it, and the moment that you hesitate, you fail. And we make so many excuses about why we can change our minds or not understand the value of real commitment. And yet I've seen so many things change in my life because I know what the actual feeling is to really commit and see it through.
Wow, and you guys have just been a team, an example team that you want to be smiling, dealing with it. We're like, oh, how's your overheating today? You're here oh, no problem. We got wheels on the back of our vehicle. Last night there were no wheels on our vehicle.
Right, we were gonna
oh my God! Look, we got to let you guys go. We're going to talk to you again. Go cool off, relax, have a cool drink, and just process the decompression after a big day here in Glamis.
Well, thank you for all the support and encouragement.
We love seeing you here.
I mean, it was worth it.
We're so
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew, we have just talked to Choco Love, and man, is it trains, planes and automobiles here today. I think half the Marine Corps just flew past the finish line here. I'm sure they wonder what on earth is going on here on the edge of the Glamis sand dunes. Matthew is looking to have a chat to Team 139 right now. I'm actually going to go directly back to Matthew so that we can interview every one of these teams today. Go. Your turn, Matthew.
Hey, that sounds great. So we're here with Team 139. It's Irma and Mandy. Oh, that's really considerate. Thank you very much. I don't know if it's. We'll ask Will.
Yeah, our team member will help
Your fan is making some noise.
Yeah.
Did it do that by itself or? Oh, okay. So this is Irma and Mandy from the 139 team. Now, Irma, since you're the driver,
I'm Irma.
You're. I got it. Oh, you keep switching seats. You're the ones that drive different. Okay, yep. Irma and Mandy. Irma, are you the hand walker across the finish line?
That's this girl. Okay. She's a CrossFit coach, and like I said, she is amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better team member.
So were you just so inspired to walk across the finish line on your hands, or had you been thinking about it all day?
I'd been thinking about something different because yeah, I do lots of pictures with handstands, and I was like, since the car's moving, might as well do handstands.
I just looked up and saw your feet, and I was like, those feet look like really well-balanced feet. I think she's going to make it across the line.
That was
and
us.
She did it.
the 7 days of tough competition, and you're all smiles here. Do you have any what's your secret? What's the secret that someone else from home could take home?
Communication. A lot of communication.
Yeah, and lots of laughs too. We try to make everything fun and just kind of take one thing at a time versus thinking about we were at 20 checkpoints today. It was just one at a time. And I think probably one of our lowest scoring, roughest days where we learned the most was probably
It was our most fun day.
We laughed the most. So.
We were singing, yes. And I think it's the thing every night as well. When we get back, we take a chance and actually think about what worked for us that day. What did we learn? And what did we learn about each other as well? So it was we were a great team. Yeah. It was a good match made in heaven for us.
We had a blast, and I think one of the things that helped too is we never looked at our score, so we have no idea what our score was.
We looked every day. It's so interesting.
We looked every day, but we did not look at the
I'm such a competitor, I cannot look away from the scores, but I get it. I get the context of what the freedom it gives you to not just ride the scoreboard the whole event, because it can go crazy ways. Look, we're going to let you guys go relax and get cleaned up and process that you've done it.
Yes.
And thank you so much for being here at the Rebel Rally. And we'll catch you later.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Yeah, Irma and Mandy, Team 139. And just looking behind me here.
Okay, we're back in the shade. Matthew's doing a great job interviewing all of the teams. It's part of our mission this year to make sure that we get as many teams interviewed at the finish line for those of you watching at home. And we've had such fun times with that arch today, I've got to say. It's a sad arch at the best of times when the wind is blowing. But they're going to make it through that finish line come hell or high water. That's Melissa Fisher and Amy Hopkins. Okay, I think we should go back to Matthew, because he has Rachel Ride now in the Mitsubishi. Matthew.
Thank you, Katie. That's great. Yeah, I am here with Rachel Ridenauer. We say her name the most because it's the most familiar, because she's been here for 5 years. Rachel has a really cool relationship with Mitsubishi. She keeps showing up with a new vet or someone she knows through the Army and through the National Forces. So Rachel and Christy, I was watching you guys on the tracker today. It looked like today was not maybe the easiest, glamorous day you could have had. Can you tell us a little bit about how it was?
Well, can we just give a thanks out now to Max Tracks, the unofficial sponsor of the Rebel Rally and anyone who off-roads frequently. So we're driving a 5,500-pound PHEV that does really, really well, but we both believe in pushing limits, because you don't know what you can do until you find out where that line is to stop. So we went up the back of a terrain feature was pretty high, and she handled really well to the end, but we curved up, so there's the peak, and she's like this, and that lithium battery is between both axles. So normally you just point the nose down and the weight will carry it down, but there's no weight in the nose. So
when I stopped forward momentum, it just settled right in the sand.
So not wanting to go this way, we had the folks over here actually back the truck up and put a tow strap on it.
On the other side of the crest.
On the other side of the crest, the white pickup truck here.
Okay.
And they pulled us enough to get her facing down, and then we rolled her back.
So that was another team that you got help from.
Exactly.
Now, did you have a relationship with them or any agreement with them earlier in the day about helping each other?
No, but we've been talking with them and helping them, throughout the event. So it's sort of, there was a little bit of an existing.
So it's kind of a no-brainer for them to give you some help when they had the opportunity.
Well, I've never had a Rebel not ask for help. I had two of the folks that are, I'm sure, in first or second place stop and ask if we need anything as well. That's just Tribe Rebel. That's what we do.
Rachel's one of our absolute favorite competitors to hear from. Her spirit is absolutely unbreakable. Christy, as a rookie, what are you taking away from your experience here for 7 days? I mean, you're not just someone off the couch. You've had a big experience in a lot of crazy situations, being in the Army for a long time. So, what was unique though from this challenge for you?
I think it was just actually being among so many women. Usually that's not the crew that I work or socialize in, just because of my job set. Both my jobs. So to be among so many women and watching everybody just kick ass and take care of each other and help each other out, give advice and pointers that was really awesome to spend this much time around all this estrogen.
It's a funny way to say it, but it is a really unique experience, and it's really supportive. It's cool. Anything else you'd like to tell us about your week?
There's so much.
Oh, I know. Sorry to leave you hanging there. I just found myself that you summed up my interview really well. So maybe we should let you guys go, relax, get cleaned up, and we'll see you later. And we've got another day of hanging out together, so we can chat again.
So can I throw one comment out there, though?
Yeah, go for it.
Anybody out there watching? So there's only one way you get to the finish line, and that's by start finishing. That happens one step at a time. And the only difference, I'll quote a favorite author of mine, Charlie Gilkey, who wrote a book called Start Finishing, but the only difference between those who do and those that don't are the people that do just get up and take that first step. So it's a little bit of a misquote, but get out there, take the first step, and you can accomplish almost anything. Get busy, start finishing, do your best work.
And now you're clear why Rachel Ridenauer is one of our absolute favorites to see here on the entry list every year. Thank you guys so much. So glad to see you here.
Great quote. What a fantastic quote. So Matthew, I took pity on you. I've been standing over there in the shade having a fantastic time watching the drone, and I've decided to come out here and give you a little break. So why don't you grab your cold drink, go back to base, cool down a little, and I can do a few interviews.
Sounds great. I'll see you back there.
So here we are at the finish line. I've got Amy Hopkins and Melissa Fisher coming through. They've fixed the arch. Technical difficulties, which are always so easy to fix. What I love about Rebel staff is whenever there's an issue, there's no panic. I mean, it could be the biggest issue in the world, like COVID-19 perhaps, and the team sits down and they decide how they're going to deal with it. And there's no problem too large. So I think we'll go back to Matthew. Is he over there looking at the drones? Nathan's looking at me. No, he's not there. He's probably gone for a freshen up. So you can hang out with me for a little longer. I can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like over 20 vehicles in the line right now at the finish of the 2020 Rebel Rally. If you are interested in competing in this event, go to our newsletter. Go to our website and sign up for our newsletter. If you sign up between now and midnight tonight, you can go in the draw to win a starter package worth over $700. And if you know that you want to compete, registration is open for 2021. And if you sign up before the end of this crazy year, you'll get a jacket, a Rebel branded jacket, and you'll also get early pricing. So if this is something you can see yourself doing this time next year, go to our website. You can learn everything you need to know about the Rebel. We have amazing training events during the year. You can learn to navigate. You can learn to drive. When I competed in 2017, I didn't know where North was 3 months before the rally, and I figured it out. There's Nina Barlow in Sedona does trainings. The Rebel does trainings. There are so many ways to up your skills. And I can tell you right now that any Rebel here, we're about to talk to two veteran Rebels, 50-50 actually. These two turned 50 this year. I hope they're choosing to come and talk to me. I'll be very offended if they don't. Look at this. Hello, what a perfect pull-in. Are you willing to jump out and have a chat to me? Turn off your vehicle. Yeah, you can put your masks on. See, they don't have to wear their masks in their vehicle because they're in their own bubble. Welcome back. I was just telling the audience at home that your team 50-50, you both turned 50 this year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what a great year to compete, and both veteran Rebels. What was different about this year's Rebel?
I think it was much harder. It was harder, for sure. A lot longer, a lot more challenge.
And how do you think you did? How are you feeling? Are you feeling like you did in other years at this point, or is it different because it's 2020?
I don't know. I feel, we kind of know where we're at, and we had a couple of challenges today. But we had some really good days too. So, we feel pretty even keel about where we're at,
So give us the highlight of this year's rally.
That's a good question. Well, gosh, let's think about the highlight. What do you think that is? I know that we found the 19 out here just a few minutes ago. That was our highlight for today. We were the first ones out there. We were the first one out there where there's no tracks.
Nice.
That was cool. Amy did a really nice job driving in the sand, so that was good. There was a couple days like yesterday, I think was a stellar day.
Yeah, we had a
pretty
really
much
good
got
day
everything
yesterday.
that we wanted yesterday, and the first day was like that. So
And we were not cold ever.
Oh, you know,
Yes.
Drew Dickman just said that to me. He goes, yes, he said, I haven't pulled out my warm jacket, and that's a win for everyone. So I'm going to let you guys go and get cleaned up. You know, tonight is always steak night. So go into impound. I'm going to interview the next team, and congratulations on turning 50, both of you.
Thank you.
Team
1, 2, 3,
50-50.
50-50. Wait, let's do it. Ready? All right, because we're 50. We can kick and stretch and kick.
Thank you. That is awesome. Such great competitors. Love talking to Amy and Melissa every time. So now we have Team 100 pulling in here. Hi, Rochelle. Can you just park? Where is this a good place for them to park? Will is this
park right here?
Park right here. And we are going to talk to the winners from last year, Rochelle Croft and Taylor Pauly, in this concept vehicle from the expedition. Right there.
Right there.
All right. So I just started to talk about your vehicle, and I thought, no, I won't do that. Why don't you guys talk about your vehicle?
Yes. Well, so we had the privilege to drive a Lexus 570. It's actually that's the platform, which is actually a 200 series Land Cruiser platform. We, as Expedition Overland, got to build a concept vehicle, which is called the J201. So that's what this Lexus is, and then run it through the Rebel Rally to show people what it's actually capable of.
And it looks pretty damn capable. Have you had a good time in your third teammate?
We have had a really great time.
Yeah.
She or he, we don't know, is
We never
very,
were sure. We named
very
him Charlie.
comfortable. It has all the luxuries of a Lexus: cooled seats, heated steering wheel, a cooler box in our center console for ice cold water and drinks. But is still so capable. I went up. I think I did everything anybody else. We saw some capabilities today, just with it being really heavy and the sand being hot. But that's been good.
So you're the winners from last year. Let's talk a little bit about how this year has been different.
It's been a lot harder.
We just heard that, yeah.
I mean, every year on the Rebel is different. I feel like every year they throw a new route at us, and they throw new challenges at us, and I think that's what makes it special. It's what makes all of us who've done it before come back. But yeah, it was. I mean, they told us they keep trying to up the competition, so it's.
Well, I
getting
think
harder every year.
that's really great. It's something that Emily does. It's just not the same thing. She knows that you're getting better.
Yeah.
And so she ups it. In fact, you guys said that everyone else said Prologue was easy, and you said to me, however many days ago it was, no, this means the whole competition is going to be freaking hard.
Yeah.
And you two nailed it because it was really hard. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, I'm really glad it's over. It was a long week. It was a long week. It takes a lot to go that hard every day for that many days and try, and we just wanted to be really consistent, push it as hard as we could. Yeah. And
so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you talk about next year, this year?
No. Well, do we? Did we? No, we really did.
No, we last year we did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We haven't really talked about next year yet.
No, we
We'll
haven't.
see.
You've only just passed the finish line.
I know.
I was just curious.
First.
All right, well, I'll let you go get cleaned up, and we'll see you inside a little later. It's always great to see your smiling faces.
Awesome.
Such great
Thank
competitors.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's see what Matthew's up to.
Yeah, just hanging out here, at our place, having a look at all the cars lined up, ready to come in. They've had a huge day. What we found out today was that temperature was really serious, really seriously impacting people's comfort out there, and several vehicles losing their air conditioning and it's just like twisting the screws here. You think you're at the end, and it just keeps it a little harder, being a little harder, and a little harder to finish the Rebel here on the 5th anniversary. 5 years in for 2020. There at the overhead view, you can see our massive primary tent there where we eat and such. That whole wall that you're looking at usually gets open, so it's a free flow tent, but we've had a bit of high wind this morning, so we've got the backside closed off. You can see the beautiful dunes in the background there. there that we're all going to be watching the sunset over here in an hour and a half or so. Vehicles are lined up there at the finish. Other folks are trying to rush in and grab a shower, get cleaned up, wash a bit of the dune sands off themselves, and just process a bit, because there's not been a lot of time for this processing. Speaking of, like, I'm just looking through the line. April Leon's 4Runner back there still has an incredible amount of negative camber in the front end, but it's here. And a few days ago, it wasn't clear it was going to make it this far, or it was going to hold together there with whatever's bent in the front end. You know what? Talking about the live team right here, I'm watching our live coverage sponsor, Kia, and the Tellurriders, Sabrina Howells and Alyssa Rowanek, lining up for their finish line photos. And we'll get them around to talk to Katie in a minute. Katie, is Katie ready? And do you have someone? Let's go to Katie.
Okay, I'm here with Shelby Hall and Penny Dale. What a team to have watched this week. I mean, talk about ups and downs. And I joke, because every time I see them, they look like they've just walked out of the salon. And I mean, seriously, this has been 8 grueling days, and you two are always smiling, always cheery. Give us the lowdown on what you've been through the last 8 days.
We were sitting in line, actually, as we were driving to the finish line. It was like, man, it's hard to believe that it's already over. But man, it was a long 8 days.
Such a long couple of days. We were saying, you know, it felt like the week was like never going to end, but we also felt like it was going to end too soon.
Yeah. And talk to us about your third teammate, the 2021 Bronco.
You know, I feel so incredibly lucky that we have been able to drive, I think, one of the very first Bronco sports as not being someone involved with Ford itself. And so I didn't really know what to expect. We got the car just a couple days before the rally started, so just enough time to get somewhat acquainted with its different drive modes, the GOAT modes, but really we put it to the test for our very first time in the rally, and there were so many times when we were very impressed.
So I overheard you doing a Zoom interview the other day, and I know that you're the more experienced team in the fleet of 3, and I heard you say how amazing it's been that you've got to do this as a team of 3, and it's been fantastic that Bronco's put in 3 of these vehicles and you've been able to support each other. Can you quickly speak to that a little?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't, the 6 of us didn't know each other going in. A lot of us didn't even know each other very well at all, and everything came together so quickly, and as a team we just gelled, and we all met, the 6 of us all met, I think on Monday or Tuesday.
Wow.
Just before the Rebelle, and
same day we met our cars.
We loaded our cars together, we had dinner together, and we were just absolutely in sync.
It's been such a bonding experience for all of us, and it's been really awesome for us to be able to help the teams that didn't know as much. I mean, I feel like sort of a novice to the Rebelle, maybe not to off-roading, but to the Rebelle, but it's been so much fun, and I think I've learned a lot from helping guide them, and Penny is so knowledgeable, and she's been such an amazing navigator. I feel very, very grateful.
Likewise, yes. She's an amazing driver. But yeah, they did amazing. You know, we had a novice team, we had another team that was familiar with other competitions, and the novice team, they were just, we laughed so hard the whole time with them. It was incredible watching them grow and like kind of helping them figure out a few things, giving them a few little tidbits, and just watching them run with it. You know, that was amazing.
And that's the spirit of the Rebelle, right? Everyone has to pass the finish line today for any of us to really enjoy our evening. Otherwise, it's just not cool.
Yes.
So thank you so much for taking the time. Go and clean yourselves up, and we'll see you in the main tent for steak dinner this evening. It's true.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Awesome. Good to see your smiling faces. So we have the Tellurriders. Perfect. Sponsored by Kia. The live show has their team rolling in behind their fiercest competitor. So can you pull it? We're live right now. Look at the 2 of these. Oh my gosh, you couldn't have picked a better team, Kia. When it comes to
We're live
with team. Jump out of your vehicle.
Jump out.
so we can showcase your third partner. No, you're a bubble. You don't need your face masks. I'll stay
We're very
back.
bubbly.
What's going on with your boot? Okay, we need a shot of the boot. Let's start on her boot. Down here, Will. Look at the
Check out
boot.
those boots.
Okay.
Looks like I'm wearing a Hurley wetsuit. Yeah. I got stuck in my shoe because the zipper stopped working. All zippers stopped working in the sand.
So I told her, rip it.
Rip it.
We're going to duct tape it.
Tape it back on.
So
Not
you
gonna stop us.
you two, I'm trying to shade you. I'm
thank
not
you.
even
I got
stand over here.
My hat's shading me. I'm good.
You two, as our live team sponsors, have been so much fun to watch. Like, what a freaking roller coaster. I mean, in the beginning,
Penchant for drama.
yeah, the beginning it was like, oh, you guys, well, we're just fine. Go on. We're just fine. And it's just been this upward trajectory. And now look at you, the most smiley, grinny faces I can see.
Such a great day.
How did you keep your attitude after such a rough start?
Well, we started good. We won the first day.
That's right, sorry.
And then
that
the second
plummet.
day, really bad. I think A, it's just our personality.
Yeah.
And B, there's a long competition, right? So our theme was win the day.
Yeah.
So we can't win yesterday or
And
the day
stop
before
looking
that.
back. We can't look back.
And you're friends anyway, right? You've known each other?
We met doing the Gazelle in 2015 in Morocco. With different teams. I was with Chrissy and she was with Amy Lerner.
Yeah.
And then we've known each other since
So
then.
tell us a little bit about your third teammate.
Oh, she did so good today.
Or he, I'm not sure. We named him
Telly Savalas. Do you remember that
old actor? Telly Savalas. Yeah.
It's a Telluride.
He's the Telly Savalas. Or the Tell You What.
Tell you what?
Oh my gosh! So he,
so
she,
good today.
they, whatever.
They. We'll
They.
go with it. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll go with they.
Yeah, I mean, we were saying earlier, like, it was really fun to get to a checkpoint and have all the four-wheel drive vehicles be like, how did the Kia beat us here?
Because we did. We all left
could
the checkpoint
really-
at one point. We went direct and just did some stuff. They went out and came back in, and we got to the next checkpoint before. We said, we're like, how are we the first ones here?
Oh my
They
gosh!
all left
that is
It took
brilliant.
about 2 checkpoints before I was like, Sabrina, just tell me where to go. I had the car could go anywhere, and we didn't have to worry about the wheels today because we were in sand, so the tire, we made it till today.
You just
we didn't
had
have
to
any more
get here.
we had to get here.
So last year you two weren't here, and we had Neil from Kia at the top of Dove Springs. Remember Dove Springs? And I went up to him on live, and I totally threw him under the bus because we wanted Kia to come on board. And I said, "So you think the Telluride could get up here?" And he's like, "Hell yeah!" And so Neil, if you're at home watching, your team is freaking awesome, and they have done.
Where we towed, we got another recovery of.
Yes.
someone
Oh,
from
yeah, we
the
recovered the Bronco
team.
again today.
Your team has done you proud. Thank you, Kia, and thank you, ladies.
Thank you guys. That was so fun.
Okay, let's go see what Matthew's up to.
Oh, Alyssa, you haven't.
Yeah, I'm hanging out just watching the overhead view, and what a great interview with that team. They're always so much fun. And I agree, how good could the timing be for X-Cross there to be interviewing our Ford Bronco team and the Kia Telluride team right in back, and they've been competing with each other all week. Really exciting class to follow, and so many people with vehicles in their driveways that would fit right into the X-Cross class. They just need a set of tires and, fire extinguisher and a few recovery bits, and they're ready to come to the Rebelle. So now, just looking at this overhead, some rookies there are going to be in our conversation next. Team 137, it was, they had the roof rack come loose and crash the glass or something a couple days ago. That's Catherine and Julia. Have always been a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and jump over there and see what we learned from Katie.
So I'm here with Catherine Gocher and Julia Bigwood, a team that I have absolutely loved watching. I met them at a training in Reno a couple of months ago, and Catherine met Julia. Julia was there just to check things out with Susie McBride, her mentor. And next thing I know, I turn up and Julia's here with a vest on. Yeah, I'm competing. And two or 3 days later, I found you an impound, and your roof rack had blown off and smashed the side of both windows. And she said to me, I'm just going to clean it up and duct tape it all back together. And every time we see you, you've got the most positive attitude. Congratulations, you freaking passed the finish line.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about today.
Oh man, what a short day. 9 hours?
Yeah.
What?
Sarcasm.
I can still see the sun. What is this? Right? It feels like it's not over. Like, I feel like we just kind of hit our groove, and I'm ready to get up at 4:30 and start plotting points again.
How do you think this is going to change the way you look at life?
Oh man.
Sometimes it's too early a question right off the finish, but
You know, we've learned a lot of things that I think were specific to the rally, but are really applicable everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for one, last night we were talking about if you're not on the right path, get off of it. Don't go down a path and waste your time if it's not the one that you want to be on, which is
Right.
true for the rally, and it's true for life. Like, if you're not doing what you want to do, get off that path.
Yeah, don't follow others. Don't trust the directions.
Trust no one.
Like,
Trust no one and nothing.
Like,
that's it. Well, I've just done the Rebel Rally and I know trust no one.
Now we have trust issues.
No, it's like, you know your heading and get there on your own.
Did you team up with anyone?
By the end, yeah. You know, we didn't do it, I wouldn't say, for like the first 5-6 days. Maybe yesterday, getting to base camp 3, we did a little bit. And then today we definitely did.
Yeah, we, for the most part, we're kind of doing our own thing.
And do you think you're going to be lifelong friends now?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you mentioned, did we learn something?
Mm-hmm.
In everything in life, you have to have the right shoes. And that means with your truck, too. And that means at the right PSI. So when we're airing down, we're like, okay, we have our sandals on. Versus like putting on our hiking boots to go up through
Or
the rocks
running
and
shoes
stuff.
for the
Running
highway.
shoes
What
for
a
the
great
highway.
analogy. Sandals for the sand and running shoes for the highway.
Well, we had a lot of time to think through the analogy.
Yeah, we were just referring to like the PSI airing down from like 30 down to 7. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I know you've got things to do and you need to relax and enjoy this one. Congratulations, both of you. We'll see you inside.
All right, thanks. Bye, guys.
Okay, we've got Erin Vogel and Sarah coming in here, 146. Erin is a professional driver. She certainly knows how to drive. And Sarah is a phenomenal navigator. Looking forward to hearing what they have to say. Just pull right in here, ladies. Thank you very much. Just turn off your vehicle, jump out. You don't need masks because you're in your own little bubble that you've been in now for 8 days, which is a long time for all of us. I can appreciate that. I've been in my live bubble for 8 days, but I do love my live bubble. Do you love our live bubble, Will?
I love it.
Okay. So this is your moment. Congratulations. I just met you two a few months ago and I'm so stoked you finished the Rebel Rally. Talk to us a little bit about your experience given that you're both rookies.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for congratulating us. We're feeling pretty good to be here at the finish line. We're really excited that for our first year doing this, we had a fundraising goal with our partner Athena Racing, and we actually are doing really well on the fundraising, so that was super cool. As rookies, just the competition, there was a lot to learn, of course, but we feel like we really did our homework, and we trained a lot, and Sarah practiced her plotting so diligently, and we got out and we did some stuff together. We did a lot of work and worked on our driving and worked on our navigating together. So, I think we came into this pretty well prepared, and we're really excited to have finished our first Rebel Rally.
And I know that you drive very different vehicles to this one.
Very different.
So what's your daily driver?
Well, my daily driver is actually an SUV.
No,
but,
I was joking, like your other daily driver.
My other daily driver is a race car. This season I raced a McLaren in GT4, and so totally the opposite, right? Like corners like it's on rails. It's different, but the same. I can use a lot of the same concepts in the driving, but there's all that suspension travel to deal with, and so it's learning how to use that to my advantage when it's something that I really, I feel it on such a small scale in the race car, and to have it on this great scale here, and to be out here in this great scale is like really fun, just to kind of explore that completely other side of driving. And it's been really fun.
Sarah, we know that you are a very talented navigator. How did you find navigating in the rally? Was it different to the kind of navigation that you're used to?
It was a little bit faster paced because we're in a car versus some of the hiking and some of the other route planning we've done. I really enjoyed some of the days like Dove Springs, where you had lots of interesting points and you really had to think through your routing. And so it definitely brought kind of the skills I had built together and kind of made it really fun to partner with Erin and kind of see how efficiently we could get between all the different checkpoints.
Well, it's been really fun to watch you guys, and again, congratulations. You've made it. The goal today is that we all make it together and we head inside and enjoy the evening and watch the sunset together. So well done. Stoked to see you here at the finish line.
Thank you, Katie.
So now we've got Jessie Puffenberger. Pull on around, ladies. Can you come around? Yeah, just park right here. So we have a few more cars here in the line. I can see the Rivian at the back there, and that may well be our last vehicle. And I can see Nina Barlow. So we are starting to close in, and that means that most rebels have got their checkpoints. It means that what you're seeing on the scoring tables at home quite possibly could be the final standings. But remember, it's not official until tomorrow at the award show. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Can you please, I know you rookies, can you tell us a little bit about how it feels to pass the finish line?
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. You don't know what to expect. You prepare, and then you realize I had no idea what I was preparing for. It was the best adventure ever, I think.
Now, Paulette, did you know each other before you came into this event?
Yeah, yes and no. No, we've been talking by technology, telephone, email, and I did come meet Jessie for a training event. So we had
one practice opportunity together before the event.
And I sat in the Jeep for the first time.
That's fantastic. And how did you find getting to know each other? There's so much of it is teamwork.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I think it's good. I mean, I think we learned what we want to work on for next year, because we definitely want to do this again, right?
You do? That's good news.
Yeah. But you learn a lot about yourself as well, which is awesome. Best part about the rally.
Yeah, we learned a lot. I mean, it'd be, we're both crew in all ways. She came with we both came very experienced with driving skill, navigation skill. I found that this is a lot different navigation than what I've done. So it didn't translate as well as I thought.
It's a learning curve, yeah.
Slower, and I don't know, she drove great the whole time. So, but the team thing, I've done a lot of team events, and to think that you're just going to plop in and everything's going to be perfect, no. But we talked a lot.
Yeah.
You have such a good attitude. You're such a mellow team. Whenever we see you, you're mellow, you're riding with it, you're learning.
They haven't heard me curse.
I love how Emily too takes the experience. I've been to a lot of these places, say off-road there, but I love how Emily makes you look at it in a totally different way. It's just really fantastic.
It's always a different kind of perspective. She'll change the way we all look at things, even in a morning meeting, and remind us of why we're here. A lot of the competitors were, towards the end get super competitive, and we have to think back to day one when we all just said, you know what, we're really lucky to actually be here. We're quite stoked that she actually went ahead with this event, and that we've made it here to the final day.
Right.
Well, look, I'm not going to keep you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you inside.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's see what Matthew's up to.
Hey, yeah, Katie, I've just been looking around here, and a few vehicles snuck in before we got our whole interview program set up well, and I'm working on kind of digging them up and see if we can get some of those interviews put together. But yeah, like you said, looking here, looking back in the line, I see Sedona and Lynn and their Nissan Frontier have come in, and Anna and Andrea and the FJ Cruiser are here, Susan Piper and Laura, who are out beating around in the dunes close to here. I see. You want to switch spots?
Yeah, can you hear me? Nathan's rolling his eyes. I thought we'd just swap, and I'll let you go out and have a chat to the ladies. Great. We're having so much fun. I get to come back. Matthew's pulled a chair up here to the screen. I figured I'd come up and look at these amazing drone shots, and Matthew can have a chat to the competitors for a little while.
So, Katie, what I was just saying is I'm trying to kind of dig up some of those folks that showed up early and try to grab them for interviews as well. Okay. Okay, I'm standing here with Kaylee and Tara Lynn
It's been a big day here, Friday, the finish. Look, we've got a helicopter flyover we planned here. Maybe they'll do a base jump out of there or something for us. So here you are again. You guys are both familiar with this feeling of being here. You're both familiar with what it takes to get through Glamis. Just tell us how your day went.
We left pretty early this morning, third off the line, and we were out in the big dunes completely alone all day. We spent basically the whole day alone, so it was fun. It was a little like, where's everyone? A little kind of like, we get stuck, I hope someone else is coming in behind us. So we had fun. We didn't get stuck. We found everything we were looking for, and we had a lot of fun, actually. We usually get a little more stressed in the dunes, and we didn't have that high stress that we usually feel.
I'm looking around to see if I can figure out if your Max Trax look sandy or not. Did your Max Trax come out of the Jeep today?
They did not. This is our third year competing together, and she has never got us stuck.
We did help another truck get out with their Max Trax, and we winched someone else out today too, but that was before it was like checkpoint 1, and then we never saw anyone again. So.
Several teams got stuck around checkpoint 1. I heard about.
There was like 4 people stuck there. We got 2 out, and by the time we did that, the other 2 were out.
And those were the small like weird dunes, right?
Yeah.
Tell us why those like small, seemingly like weird dunes are tough sometimes. They're like they're sketchy, aren't they? They're hard to figure out.
They're softer. You can belly out on them,
Mm-hmm.
and
The
you
space
just sink
between
pretty
them
quick.
is smaller than the size of a car. So if you go into one, you can't get back out sometimes. So.
Sometimes if I'm out there by myself, I jump out of the truck and run over and make a plan. And in the little dunes, it's like no time to plan. When you got the truck rolling, you got to kind of keep moving, and then you get in trouble, right?
You have to tell me like, send it.
Yeah, my torso's a lot taller than hers, so I can see over the hood further than her.
I see the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she just listens to me.
Now, tell me, looking at the scoreboard, I'm sure you looked at the scoreboard this morning.
This morning, yeah.
Yep. So leaving, knowing you're in contention in the morning, with a bit of a skinny lead to start, right? Do you feel like that pressure adds to your competitive spirit, or is it disruptive to focus too much on it, or does it help just kind of keep you focused?
We left kind of extra motivated this morning. Like, all right, let's make a plan, let's make decisions, let's stick to it. None of this willy-nilly. We took a heading at every stop we made. We were really careful because of that.
Okay. And are you guys both the best at the jobs you do, or could you, we've talked before, could you switch and do well also?
We switch the whole rally. Sometimes every other day, sometimes middle day. I drove some today.
Yeah, we switched driving, navigating.
I thought so. That's why I brought it up,
Yeah,
right?
no, we switch. We used to just switch like full days at a time, but now sometimes I'm just like, can I just drive for a
Yeah, we
while?
got to a fun part, and she's like, can I drive? I was like, yeah, we switched. I took us
I show her where we are at on the map and where we're going, and she just takes over. And
I think that's been really helpful for us to. We're both responsible for every decision.
Got it.
So we both agree.
Sharing.
It's not like, well, that was the navigator's fault. We don't click unless we both are comfortable.
I got it. Shared responsibility. Well, we're going to let you guys get cleaned up.
Thank you.
Looks like you had a great day. Trying to find a nice way to say it. Okay, thank you guys for taking the time. Katie, what you got going on over there?
Hi, and welcome back to the drone shots and the train that is probably, I think, our 4th that's gone by. But we are not stopping today until every single competitor passes through the finish line. If you've been watching these ladies compete from the shores of Lake Tahoe down to the border of Mexico, you'll know that this has been 8 grueling days of competition, and that we owe every single one of them an interview with their 3rd teammate. So right now, Matthew is about to talk to Mama Hohen and Dana Sexton, and I can tell you that without Hohen Adventures and Team Hohen, the Rebelle would not be where it is. It's partners like Hohen and Total Chaos that have been with Emily since the start, and they really are part of the Rebelle family. So Matthew, go for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Katie. Katie was just saying there's another helicopter like on cue for an interview, right? Okay. We'll just breathe for one moment. And so Katie introduced this interview already, talking about how you guys are, full-time rebels, like full rebels, 5 years of competing now, and that the Hohen family really got in there with several entries early on. And just tell us what it's meant to the two of you to be able to compete together for 5 years, and then this event to be here for women and for other people you guys support to be able to come and participate.
Well, I feel like it's for our company, it's been an honor to be a part of the Rebelle, and I can hardly believe it's been 5 years already. It seems like this was Emily's idea just not that long ago, but here we are 5 years into it, and we absolutely love being out here, and hopefully we have 5 more in us. Dana.
Oh yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah. Did Dana look at you sometime this week and say, "Oh, geez, I don't know about this"?
I'm not going to say. No, I actually don't think I said that all week.
How long have you guys been personal friends?
Oh, probably, let's see, the girls were
About
6.
Yeah,
so
6 or 7.
But maybe that
now
dates us too much.
34.
They're 34, yeah.
So a long time.
Yeah.
You do the math. You
25 years.
Some 25 years or so.
And I'm going to say, in our car together, we never have had a crossword between the two of us, which I think is pretty amazing over 5 years, and all of the friction that could go on. But
sure, it's high stress, uncomfortable, maybe didn't sleep well. All of it can be rough.
More time laughing than we do, questioning each other, which is just the best.
Yeah,
I love it. And being under a bit of stress has just brought you closer as a team there and such. Well, we absolutely love the spirit that you bring. We love seeing you on the entry list. We love. Would you like to tell us about your wrap really quick? What is this wrap we're looking at on your Land Rover this year?
So this is Bella, our third teammate, and she's been our teammate for all 5 years as well. And this wrap is a Malibu tile print, and it kind of is representative of California, which is the terrain that we drive through. So we decided to put that on it.
Well, we love spending time with you guys. We're so happy to see you, and we'll let you have a breather to go get cleaned up and get into relaxed mental space.
Great.
We'll catch you later.
Thank you,
Karen and Dana. Awesome. Okay, Katie, I'm about to jump to April Leon here and talk about how her Forerunner is here, and we wondered if it was going to make it a couple days ago, but what are you looking at over there?
So right now I can see the finish line, and it's not as long as it was. So we have 4 more cars, and I actually think that this is it, unless we have one more out there. Paige, he'll be able to tell us in a second here. But we're doing our best to interview every team. It's such an important moment when we get every team across this finish line, because by the end of the 8 days, alliances have been formed. This community really comes together, and even in years when cars aren't even able to drive across the finish line, all the competitors make sure that somehow, come hell or high water, they all get to the finish together. Even this evening, it's not really about who won, it's just about the fact that the competitors and all the crew have made it across the finish line, and Drew Dickman puts on an incredible steak dinner. And hold on, let me look over here. Matthew's got someone ready to go. Matthew.
Team 107 in the Forerunner. Now, the first question everyone wants to know, April, we've got diamond plating down the side of your Forerunner. Like, what was this? Just I wondered if it was a wrap to start, and then I knocked on it and I was like, no, that's very much not a wrap.
It's a real diamond plate. The last time I was in Glamis in February, I rolled it over in the dunes. And the whole side was crushed. I didn't really want to replace all the doors, and I kind of wanted to do something fun with her. And I knew I would probably come back to the dunes, and who knows, maybe I'd get high-sided again. So, and this is just kind of a labor of love. It was like my COVID project. So I did a lot. I got the diamond plate put on by a fabricator, and then I worked to get the Bondo on to make it look embedded, and then we did a bunch of stuff retrofitting the inside. And it was just a big project.
It's so cool to look at. You said it was a COVID project. Yeah. And now, have you done the other work on the Forerunner with the suspension and stuff like that yourself?
I have. Yeah, some of it. Some of it we just did in the garage, my boyfriend and I. So it was, really cool to learn all this stuff. I've dropped the
under plating on my fingers a few too many times, so I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
Definitely a labor of love. Chelsea, we'd love to hear from you about your week. What was it like competing with April? How do you guys know each other? Have you known each other a long time?
Our whole life. I'd say my whole life. I guess I've known her since we're related.
She's my younger sister. She's my baby sister.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So I'm the baby. Always. But so that's I guess how we met, and we've been doing a little more every year. And then this year she asked me to be the navigator, and it's been an amazing experience. I mean, you can't replicate this anywhere. I'm from the East Coast. I live in the East Coast, and we don't have any of this. So even like my first tumbleweed to cactuses or cacti, I guess.
Sure.
Everything is just so different. It was such an amazing experience.
Now tell us, we know you had some suspension issues a few days ago, and you wondered if you were going to have a vehicle that even drove straight. Did it cause you to drive differently and compete differently knowing that?
Mostly I just held onto the wheel a little tighter. It had a little bit of a wobble, but the suspension is really good. It just came down to the alignment not working, and we couldn't get it to get back into normal. So I have a bunch of work to do, maybe my second COVID project, to just beef up the front, because I like to hit those whoops pretty fast. And I have to thank Toy Tech for helping me with the suspension, and they did a really good job on that. And now I've got all these other parts in there that
I
need
see
to be
some
as
total
good.
chaos on there.
Yes, the total
chaos. They're a partner, a supporter of the event. I
Yes.
think they've got what the doctor ordered for this for a runner.
I cannot wait to talk to them. I got to find them as soon as my interview is over.
All right, we in fact are done.
They,
All right.
All right.
Take care. Nice to see you. Congratulations being here. So we're gonna have Susan Piper and Laura pull up here in a moment. But Katie, what's going on back at base?
So we are pretty much at the end here, Matthew. We've got the Benzies and the Rivian bringing up the rear, but that does not mean in the Rebelle Rally that they are last place. I'm actually looking here at the standings. This is unofficial. Okay, there is still potential for inquiries and Chrissy Beavis to officially say who's won the Rebelle Rally. But I'm looking here, Chris Walker has his standings up. Oh, they're live on screen. Look at that. Kaylee Miller and Terrell Peteret, team 125, look like they have come in first place, followed by last year's winners Rochelle Croft and Taylor Pauley. And then the Benzies have impressed all of us this year and look like they may podium. Behind them we've got Sedona Blinson and Lynn Woodward in the team Nismo, and Kendra Miller and Eliza Coleman. And then, of course, Emmy Hall and Rebecca Donoghue in the Rivian, which is an interview that's coming up here shortly. Let's go back to Matthew, and we'll go over X-Cross shortly.
You were the first Rebels I saw this week when we arrived in Tahoe, and I saw you late at night that night. So, look, here we are 7 days later having a chat. How's it gone?
We had a great rally. Susan was so great. I'm a rookie driver, and this is her third year, so it was great for her to take me on. We learned a lot from each other. We learned a lot at the rally. I mean, it was just awesome.
Now, can you tell us how you met each other?
We met at training. Yeah.
So you met at Rebelle U, one of our training sessions.
I think it might have been not in one of the Rebelle U, but it was sort of another auxiliary dune driving training course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
actually run by Nina Ball.
And so you've had plenty of time to find the pieces that you have in common, or develop a friendship and such?
Actually, no.
You've been busy competing or something?
No. There's a little group of us that would get together to train, and do different things. And so Susan came down from Wyoming, and people stayed at our house, and so we went out and did a little course. And she was originally partnered with someone else, and so was I. And neither one of our partners ended up being able to do it because of COVID. So we had teamed up that day for that kind of impromptu training, and then said, well, hey, Why not?
Now, did Susan bring some fancy shovels down to show you? And you're like, you know what? I should probably compete with this.
Well, I
this
have
woman's
to
got
tell
cool
you,
shovels.
She does have a shovel or two, and I thought, well, it would be nice to have 2 shovels in the car because she has one. And I held up my plastic shovel, and she said, nope, can't do that. Nope.
So if you don't know, Susan started Demos, the shovel company that's been a sponsor of the event. I've got a Demos shovel on top of our ride, our live show ride. Well, look, thank you so much for being here. Congratulations finishing here at the end of day 7, the 5th year of the Rebel Rally. We'll catch you guys later and give you a little bit of chance to get cleaned up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Hey, Katie, it's getting towards the end. You say I'll take a couple more and then you could shoot out here and get the end? Oh.
So we've got all the cars here in impound. This is coming towards the end, but we are not stopping tonight because it's our mission to make sure that every single Rebel that passes this finish line is recognised. And you know what? If you didn't see your loved ones earlier because they came in before the live show started, we have the glam side of the Rebel that starts tomorrow, and we're going to go live from Glamis for the glam. It's actually kind of cool. Why didn't anyone think about glam and Glamis? We'll do that next year creatively. Anyway, as you heard earlier, Drew Dickman is doing a 6-course meal with wine pairings, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Let's go back to Matthew. I think he has FJ Anna for an interview. And
all right. Anna, Andrea, you guys have been smiling and competing hard all week. We've seen you shoot up the score list each day in different times. Tell us about it. How's it been? Have you been watching the scores carefully, and has that been in your mind during the week, or have you just been kind of running your own rally?
A little of both.
Yeah.
We ended up 10th last year, and we wanted to hopefully do better this year.
Okay.
And so we went out this morning, number 8, and we're hopeful we at least are still there.
Okay. Obviously, with all the total chaos I see on that FJ Cruiser, I would imagine you're pretty well equipped for dunes. How was your dunes day?
We had a great day. We went in for all the X's right in the middle. And
took the big dunes.
Took all the big dunes, and we had a great day. Yeah. She killed it.
Didn't get stuck. I pulled out our friends in the Jeep twice, which was good, but it did really good.
Yeah, no, we had a great day.
Perfectly.
Yeah, mid-morning the wind started building. Did you remember when the edges of the dunes started to look fuzzy? And we all did a little mental check, hope they get out. Yeah, how is this day going to turn? Because if this wind keeps growing, it's going to turn ugly.
The thing we noticed most was that it got really soft in end of day. So
Yes.
coming back, things that should have been easy to get up, you had to put more power to.
Huh. Yeah.
So.
Now, if we've got a lot of fans looking from home, wondering if the Rebel might be a fit for them, what would you give? What advice would you give for someone's considering, wondering if the Rebel rally's for them?
100% do it. 100%. Don't even think twice.
Yeah.
I just finished my 4th time doing it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and it's for anybody. I mean, we have a mother of 3, we have a scientist. I mean, it's if you have any interest at all in vehicles, in navigation, in things that are all women, it's 100% for you.
So cool. Well, we love seeing you guys crawling around out there in the dunes looking like bosses, and it's been fun to see you higher on the score, frankly, than some other years. I've been rooting for you all week, and I'm glad to see you here safely. Congratulations completing the 2020 Rebel Rally.
Appreciate it.
We'll catch up with you guys after you get cleaned up a bit, a little later. Hi, Katie. How did I miss you?
well, you're out here in the sun, so I figured I'd relieve you again because we've had all the elements, as you know, from Tahoe down here. Today the wind picked up to, it's pretty gusty there in the afternoon, and now we've got the sun beating down on us. So if you would like to take a little refresher.
Yeah, you know what I think it is like all the teams are great, but you really like talking to Lynn and Sedona.
I do like talking to Lynn and Sedona.
And you're like, you know what, I'm going to get over there and interview.
Look at that, she's got a safety pin holding her glasses together. Thank you, Matthew. Oh, now I've got Buzzbee jumping in to take over my interview. This is how we roll. Beast in the Desert just steps on in.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Jump out, ladies,
Let's
please.
live television, everybody.
The first thing we have to do is say hello to your parents, right?
Oh, hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I love you. I'm going to call you guys in a couple minutes.
She can hardly talk. Okay, ladies, you have been...
I can do all the talking.
Team Nismo, what a team to watch. Like, legendary Rebels. You crushed it this year. Tell us a little bit about your adventure together.
It has been an incredible week. We just took Emily's advice and tried to ride the middle and just keep pushing and taking chances and going forward.
We really wanted to compete hard this year. We had a 6th place finish last year, and we knew that we had the skill to compete with the top competitors. We proved that to ourselves last year, and we wanted to come in and we wanted to prove it to everybody else, and I feel 100% like we did that. I'm so proud of us.
You absolutely did. And have you been yelling at Sedona a little bit?
No. So yesterday we had Oldsmobile Hill in Glamis was one of our
It's
challenges.
a large hill, yes.
It's a huge hill.
We made it. We drove. A lot of people walked up that thing to get those
You
points.
drove to the top of Olds?
We got to the top of Oldsmobile
That's
Hill.
congratulations,
And
it is.
nobody saw it. There was not another soul around us, like not a bird in the sky.
But they might have heard us.
They heard us because we were so ecstatic. I was screaming a little loud.
You know, that's what the rally's all about. It's these moments that you guys have together and you'll have for the rest of your lives, and it will shape the way, you know, when 2020 sort of rolled into place, I thought to myself, Rebels are going to deal with this, right?
Oh, I mean, look what we deal with like for a week. It's amazing.
The Rebel sets us up for life.
Yeah.
With any challenges.
But the thing too, you know, I was talking to somebody earlier, and this event is all about perseverance. And so is this year for everybody. It's all about perseverance, because you get through it. You just got to do the work, and you got to work your way through it and out of it. So,
you know, you're making me get rid of that, Flylan. You're making me think about Paul Will here. This is perseverance. He's been holding this camera for how long now? 2.5 hours.
Perseverance.
It's going to be more than a margarita for Will tonight.
2 margaritas.
Thank you so much. Enjoy this evening.
Thank you.
So next I've got Team 184, and we're going to have Busby's interviewing them. Eliza, pull forward. I'm going to start interviewing them in the vehicle. Just pull forward, ladies, and then we want you to turn off your vehicle and jump out. And we want to hear a little bit about your adventure. You know that you don't need masks together, because I'll be behind the camera. But I want to hear about what you've just been through over the last 8 days.
Well, this is me.
Can you read my sock? I'm a delicate effing flower. Those socks are freaking brilliant. Well done. We could just close out the show right here. Okay, Kendra.
Yes.
You're a 5-time Rebel.
I am a 5-time
You're an
Rebel.
original Rebel.
How
has this year been different to other years?
Do you need me to stand on top of the Jeep so our heads are at the same level?
How's it been different to other Rebels?
This has been the hardest year by far, I think. A lot of the checkpoints were harder, the quantity, the decisions that you had to make throughout the day. It was a
You're not the only person
grueling-
who's saying that.
I know. It was really hard this year, and anyone who, you know, finished it should be so incredibly proud of themselves, because this is not like, if this had happened year one, I'd be like in a puddle crying on the floor somewhere.
I know. It's a great initiation, right?
Oh god.
And you guys did really well. I mean, you're in the hunt.
So good.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
we just tried to go out and just have the best day every day, and, you know, try to have bad checkpoints and not bad days, and that's what we did.
So as an original Rebel, what's one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who's sitting at home thinking, I can't do that?
Oh, you can absolutely do it. Whatever it is, that's what I thought the first year when I signed up. I was like, at first I was like, I can do that, and then I was like, what am I doing here? I don't belong.
We all felt
I was
that.
like, what am I doing? Like, what have I gotten myself into? And then it was like, well, it's too late now. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, I can do this.
Not only do you belong, you're one of the
You're one of
original Rebels, and when this event is around in 40 years' time, you would have done. Are you going to maybe have done all 40 at that point? Who knows? At least you can say you're an original.
However old I am, we'll see.
And did you have a good time, Eliza?
I had the best time. What an adventure.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Perfect. Well, I'm not going to keep you. I want you to go and have a good evening, get yourself a cold drink, and just enjoy this. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Next we've got, hi Nina. Hi Nina. Hi Nina. Hi Nina. You want to pull that ram, the beast of a ram, over here.
Yes, ma'am.
Turn it off because it's quite a loud beast, and jump out for a quick interview. Nina Barlow, an original rebel, I think. Did I get that right? She didn't compete last year, but Nina's always here and always in the hunt. Just here's good. Nina, you're an original rebel, aren't you? Okay, there's the answer with a rev, of course. Jump out.
Yes, ma'am.
Chop, chop. That final checkpoint, it's right here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It might involve some tequila a little later.
Oh,
after the show.
We're going to put our vests on so we're official.
Perfect. Hey, so talk to us a little bit. You've done this competition. You didn't do it last year, so you've done it 4 years.
4 out of the 5 years, yep.
How was it different? And don't say it was the hardest one, because that's what everyone said.
Everybody else said that?
Yeah.
Oh, it was too easy. I think Emily needs to step it up a little bit, you know. It was
You haven't competed together, have you?
No.
No. So how was that? Talk through that. You guys look like you were having a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, she was great. Well, we knew we're both original rebels.
Yes.
And so, when I needed a navigator this year, and Emily started brainstorming with me, and she mentioned Tana's name. I was like, that's it. We will have, no matter what happens in that truck for 7 days, we'll have fun, no matter what happens in the competition.
And that's something we should mention. If you're out there and you want to navigate or drive and you don't know who to do it with, the Rebel will help you do that. And you can also train with Nina. Talk to us a little bit about the training that you do for a lot of the Rebels.
Yeah, we do a lot of training out here, actually, in Glamis. And so our goal is to first train them for general sand driving, safety and driving techniques. And secondary is Rebel skills.
I love Nina's. I always think it's hilarious, and she's probably going to tell me that's not her intention, but I always love how you post like a month out. Oh, look at this problem that I might have on the Facebook group, and just throw it out there. I'm like, the head games have already begun, and of course you're going to say, no, I was just trying to help, but it's so much fun watching you post those.
You
should see her in the trainings. I 2 weeks before the Rebel, I got to go down. I booked it 12 hours down to Sand Mountain to train with Nina, and she's on the radio telling people, notice this out the window, and like she's like totally like it was amazing. She does an amazing job. But we just we jived. It was awesome.
Yeah. So my final question, I'm asking all original Rebels this: if somebody's watching you right now because we're live, and they're thinking about doing the Rebel and they're not quite sure because they're not a professional driver, what would you say to them?
It's not about the competition. It's just not. It's not about winning or losing. I don't care what place I'm in. I'm about pushing myself, growing as a person. This competition will throw you to the next level. We were talking about this. It's like intense therapy, right? Like a 7-day therapy session of working on your inner self.
So many different aspects to it. It's not just driving, it's not just navigating. There's so much to it. The learning to communicate, just the teamwork aspect, just adjusting, no matter how A+ you are, how well you prepare, at best you're going to be 70 or 80% of what you need to really do well in this competition. And all of us are struggling. All of us are trying to figure stuff out. We're all making mistakes. And that is so good for us to have to deal with, because most of us A+ people don't make mistakes.
And we've all learned, even we've learned that we make mistakes. This is truly a proving ground. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. We'll see you inside. So just kicked over your cold drink rule. Actually, no, that was mine, so you're still good. We've got the Benzies. We talk a lot about the Benzies this week. They're coming in behind Nina. Hey, Emily. Hi. Can you pull around? Thank you. So the Benzies have a sugar sweet. These two are the most lovely, sweet competitors you'll ever meet. You have no idea what these two ladies are capable of. You'll see when they jump out. Mother-daughter team, can you turn off your vehicle and jump out? We're going to do a quick interview. We just want to make sure that everyone who crosses the finish line gets their moment of glory today. I've got a mask. No, because you get to stand over there in your bubble and we'll stand here in our bubble. So guys, I was just telling, first of all, congratulations. Here we are, mother-daughter team, favourite of mine, love the mother-daughters. I've just telling the audience that you two are just so sweet like a rose, but man, there's got to be some competitive thorns in there because you two have been in the hunt all week. Tell us a little bit about your experience on the 2020 Rebelle.
We decided to, as Emily Miller says, ride the metal. So we didn't take any chances to minimize mistakes because in year 1 and 2 we made a lot of mistakes. So year 3 we rode the middle and just did what we were gonna do. And it's weird being in competition with people you like because you don't want to beat them because you want them.
So let me ask you this though: you are always smiling. Do you ever argue in the vehicle?
I wouldn't say argue. There's moments, I was talking about this yesterday actually, where she is my mom, so my whole life, you know, she's in charge and she is the navigator, which gives her even more power. So sometimes I'm like, she's like, you need to go right, you need to go harder right, and I'm like, Mom, there's a bush, you know? So sometimes like I have to ask her like, would you say this to me if I wasn't your daughter? And most of the time,
you say that?
I said it once, I was like,
yeah, because it's true. It's like, would I talk to you like that if you were not?
Because she'd be like, why in the world are you going left? We need to go right. I'm like, would you use that tone with a teammate that wasn't your daughter? But
probably not.
It's
And I
not
apologize.
sassy. I'm just kind of like, as a reminder, like our first year, I was like, I'm driver, you're navigator, and you are mom, but like, I can put on my own sunscreen. Like, you don't have to remind me. It's okay. Just trying to navigate, like, I don't want to say a business relationship, but like a competitive relationship.
It needs to be. It needs to be, and this is what the Rebelle does. It's a proving ground, and it teaches you to think outside the box, and you can't, you know, I can imagine. I have stayed involved in the Rebelle because I want to do this with my daughter, so we have a lot to learn from you guys when she's 18.
I promised I would never tell her to brush her teeth or put on sunscreen or anything.
I don't think you did.
But though I wanted to.
Yeah.
But you don't. You have to. Yeah. It's a different relationship.
Yeah.
And it does change.
But it is so great. I'm so happy we've done this together. And like, for me, if I ever have a daughter, to be like, it's what Grandma and I did when we were younger.
Yes,
you know?
absolutely.
Like, just something really fun to share and do.
All right, well, thank you for your time. We're not going to keep you. We want you to go and celebrate and enjoy this final day of the Rebelle Rally. Thank you so much. It's so great chatting with you. Oh, here we have the Rivian. We'll say goodbye to the girls. Thank you. So it's very fitting to be ending on the Rivian. Emmy and Rebecca won in the Rolls Royce last year, and none of us thought that they could top the Rolls. Matthew, my co-host, are you online now, Matthew? I'm sure you are.
I don't know. Let me try talking.
Oh, you are. Look at that.
Yeah,
brilliant. So Matthew turned up last year with a bow tie get-up, and he drove the media vehicle, and I was lucky enough this year to steal Matthew onto the live show. And you can see here Rebecca and Emmy are competing in a Rivian this year, which they're, I think, trying to get into the frunk, do they call it?
Yeah, the frunk.
Oh my
It
gosh.
looks like the frunk is messing with them.
there's
They
no
tried to get in it
engine
and
there.
shut on them.
Yeah, and so just for a little background, this, oh my gosh, this could be a safety situation.
These two are goof-offs at a whole new level.
Yeah, so they're in the frunk. We call this, if you haven't seen the Rivian, it's here. This is the #1 Rivian off the factory floor. Emmy and Rebecca turned up in it as part of our new electrified class. And this is the first time Emily's had it. It's a beta test. We've got Power Innovations here who have powered our electric vehicles this year, and none of us knew what to expect. It was just breaking ground. We have a whole team here from Rivian who are going to be part of this interview to talk to us about how this vehicle did for 2,500 kilometers from the shores of Lake Tahoe down to the border of Mexico. We have the first Rivian off the factory floor. Hello, Peter.
Good evening.
So I'm actually going to have you stand in front of this camera here, and We wanted you to be here to see your vehicle. I know how excited the Rivian team is. We've just taken everyone through the fact that this is a beta test and that we've got Power Innovations here to charge you, and that this is the very first Rivian off the factory floor.
Correct.
Tell us how your adventure's been as a team with this one of a kind.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been from the outset of building, I guess, the Rivian brand through to what we see today here at the Rebel Rally and bring it through to the end. It's been, some huge steps forward, not only with regards to, I guess, the Rivian brand, but also electrifying this space, the off-road space. And we've learned a lot along the way as well with regards to durability of the vehicle, range-wise of the vehicle, and I guess the user experience at the end of the day as well, and how that ties in with the adventurous spirit of our end customers that we want to try and get into the field into the future next year when we go into production with these.
So how fun was it to have Emmy and Rebecca, Emmy behind the wheel and Rebecca navigating? That must have been really cool too.
They're amazing, yeah. I mean, every moment with them is a great laugh, and they provide some real valuable feedback to us as well with regards to any quirks with the vehicle, anything we can also feed into the production cycle as well, the development cycle of the vehicle moving forward to next year's release of the vehicle. So it is really great to get it into a third-party set of hands for their independent feedback, which ultimately helps drive the product and make a better product at the end of the day.
And can you tell us a little bit about working with Power Innovations?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they've been our partner throughout the rally to keep the vehicle on charge and charge at the start of each day and mid each day as well. We had no issues with regards to range throughout the event. We ran low a few times, but it didn't hinder our progress. So it proves that we can offer remote charging solutions, and also the vehicle has the ability to get us through these stages as well.
So I'm learning, like all week.
Sure.
Matthew and I have been learning and trying to understand this vehicle, and one thing that I learned, and I'm so glad you're here because I don't want to get it wrong, is the regenerative braking. So one day they actually didn't need to charge because their braking, the power went in. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Exactly. So I guess regenerative braking is basically like an alternator on your vehicle, where if you're freewheeling down a hill, you don't necessarily need to use your brakes. Basically, you can backfeed the energy created by the motors back into the battery. So it's basically like reversing the whole cycle. Instead of typically a normal IC engine vehicle will generate heat in the brakes, which is wasted energy. Basically, what we do is capture that energy within the motor and feed it back into the battery pack. And as a result, we can basically charge the battery as we're rolling downhill.
Charge as you're rolling. How cool is that, Matthew?
I mean, think about the amount of energy it takes to stop a vehicle, and it's just like wasted. So if you could take all of that momentum, the kinetic energy you have rolling, right, and shove it back into some storage system, it would be fantastic, and that's what you guys can do, and electric cars are able to do
and basically
that.
the potential energy, because we went up some pretty steep hills out there from what I saw. So the amount of potential energy you got up the top of the hill, I mean, you could either waste that through heat in the brakes or noise of the brakes, or you could recapture that energy for, I guess, an extended range.
Well, we've got a few more days with you guys. We're going to enjoy the gala with you and a cold beer a bit later. But right now, let's go and congratulate your team for making it across the finish line. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, well, how are you doing? You've got one more teammate.
Will, our trusty steed.
What a
hanging in there.
fitting end. No, you're your own bubble.
pod.
You don't have to.
Okay, we're the pod.
So this is a fitting end to the 2020 Rebel Rally. You two roll in your Rivian, number one off the factory floor. Your team has given us the lowdown on their experience working with you, and it sounds like every minute was a pleasure. But let's talk about you as Rebels. How was this different than every other year?
Wow. Yeah. Well, lots of new challenges. With the vehicle and trying to manage time and manage
a lot of our time management, because we had to always charge in the middle of the day, so we always knew we were going to be coming in at least a half an hour later than we would be normally.
Truly, our fears about range were unfounded. Yeah, we never ended up having an issue where we were like, The one night we did. The one night we had. Vivian is making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
She's like, my battery hot.
I think she's letting you know she's
like
tired.
This, my battery hot. And after a while, her air suspension's gonna go.
So was it harder than other years?
100%. The rally itself is harder
way
than
harder.
other years.
Way
But then we
harder.
challenge. We're like, really? We challenged ourselves even
This
more
year?
in the toughest year of the rally. With a crazy idea, but the crazy idea worked.
You two are always coming up with crazy ideas. I can't wait to see what happens.
You guys are the pictures in the dictionary for what? The Urban Dictionary. Crazy idea. It's you two.
Like this.
So I need to point out that these two are one of two teams that have competed together in every single Rebel Rally.
I cannot believe she hasn't killed me yet.
It's a beautiful...
Indeed, I can't believe you haven't killed me either. I keep just saying, indeed.
So I've asked all the original Rebels this. If you've got people watching at home that are thinking, I can't do this, these ladies are professionals, what advice would you give them?
Jump.
Nice.
Do it. Yeah. Because you'll figure it out. And I think the best thing, the best advice, you'll never think you're ready. Do it anyway.
Great advice.
You will never think you're ready. You can't be ready, so do it anyway. And that's the whole design of this. We don't know what we're expecting the next day, and that's the whole purpose of it. And you'll never be perfect. You'll never be ready. So do it anyway. And now is better than later.
And you weren't ready for this year because she changes the course every year and ups the ante.
You never know. You never know.
No. And you also, if you say that you want to do it, then you have to do it. You can talk about how much I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do it next year.
Just do it. It will happen
now.
It'll happen.
Just decide that you're going to do it in 2021, and then start making your plan. And I like to subscribe to a little theory I call small, catch monkey.
Okay.
See? Where are we going now?
Small catch monkey means that you have to have a lot of little goals to reach your big goal, right? So if your big goal is to do the Rebel Rally, so what's a little goal that you can set and meet that goal that gets you further along that? Maybe it's buying a compass. So go buy a compass. That's something that's really easy to do.
Take an online navigation course. Go to RVI navigation course.
You can set yourself little goals like, I'm going to do 2 or 3 things each month, starting right now, today, whatever the hell day it is, 17th? I don't know.
We don't know.
None of us know.
It's Friday.
No.
We don't know.
You're gonna and so this week you're gonna do 2 things that would get you close to the Rebel Rally. You're gonna buy a compass and you're gonna, I don't know, look at a topo map. Just look at it. You don't even, you just look at it. Yep. And then the next week, figure out 2 more things, and then the next thing you know, you've got yourself
a Rivian.
I mean, we brought a crazy vehicle, which is incredibly capable. But that's the thing about the rally too, is that you don't have to think about like, oh, what vehicle can I bring? You literally can bring what's in your driveway. You can figure out what. We brought all kinds of. We brought her dad's truck the first year. We just wanted to do it. We met each other the day before tech.
The vehicle in your driveway is more capable, you think, and that's a fitting end to this. But first, you need to zoom in on their vests. But did you die?
Yes, did you die?
That is how we're
We
going
had
to
a
end
terrible
out
day
this
3.
show. No one died.
Nobody died.
We had. Thank you so much, and congratulations all round.
Thanks for hosting. Thanks
this.
for watching.
Nicely done.
I know. I can't wait to.
We're gonna miss Matt and Katie in the morning.
Oh, we're here tomorrow for the glam, which is a nice.
Oh no, I just mean you need to be syndicated. You need to actually.
Oh, sure.
Matt and Katie in the morning.
So on
103.5.
On that note, you've seen the grit. You've seen the dirt. We have travelled 2,500 kilometres from the shores of Lake Tahoe all the way down to the border of Mexico. All the teams are in safe and sound in 2020. We are going to be live tomorrow for the awards show. We're not going to San Diego like we normally do. We are staying right here in the desert in our bubble, and we are going to have a red carpet. I'm not sure what I'm wearing yet, Matthew. Do you know what you're wearing?
Well, didn't you buy like 3 pairs of shoes on the way south?
I had to
worried
stop
that you
at
had the wrong
Walmart
footwear?
because I bought heels and open-toed shoes. So let's see what shoes I decide to wear tomorrow. So follow us on social, okay? We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Go to rebelrally.com if you want to learn more. Thank you for going on this journey with us. We've had so much fun. It's been a pleasure working with you, Matthew Johnson. I can't wait to see you at the glam side of our event. Don't forget, you have until tonight to sign up to our newsletter, and you can win a starter package worth over $700. Look at it, the Rivian, stealing our thunder. One more time. It's going to run over you.
Yeah, Vivian telling us something as she comes by.
So where was I? Okay, tomorrow night, gala, red carpet. We're having a 6-course meal with wine pairings. Thank you so much for watching. This has been a grand adventure. Will behind the camera is buff right now. He's been holding it for 3 hours. We will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock for live on the red carpet, and watch social media in case we change our mind.
Yeah, in case we change our mind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Life can throw you a curve, send you down an unexpected path. But navigating the rocky moments is part of the adventure. To help you discover what's been missing.
Bandit! Why did you run off?
Introducing the 2021 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
Iridium is more than just a satellite company, making connections anywhere, to anything, or anyone. There's no other network like it. Operating in low Earth orbit, Iridium is still the only commercial satellite system where calls and data are passed from satellite to satellite. Safety and reliability are in Iridium's DNA. Trusted by people and organizations in some of the world's most challenging environments, Iridium remains committed to helping make the world a safer place. As we look to the future, the possibilities are endless.